Praise the Lord. Good morning, everyone. Praise the Lord. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome each and everyone to this International Fisherman's Day. Those near and far, those joining us on the web. Praise the Lord. Praise God. Shall we pray? Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. God is good all the time. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Father, as we come into your awesome presence, another time, Lord, to give you thanks. Another time, Lord, to praise you. Another time, Lord, to just look back at where you have brought us from to where we are now. Lord, we are eternally grateful. Lord, as we celebrate this year, International Fisherman's Day, we invite your awesome presence. We ask, Almighty God, that you help us to take charge, Almighty God, of whatever, mighty God, we have to do to the betterment of this industry. We pray, Almighty God, that you will give our youths, Almighty God, visions as we celebrate them. We pray, Almighty God, for new inspiration coming from our leaders, great and small. We ask, Almighty God, that as we are here today, mighty God, we will make a difference. And we pray, God, that as mighty God, that as your presence be with us from this time forth and even forevermore. We look to you by faith and we tell you thanks, Lord, for all that you have done. We thank you, mighty God, for all that you're doing. And we thank you for all that you're about to do in Jesus' holy and precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown-Dorma. Today is a day to celebrate. And we are celebrating all of the people involved in fishing. So before we go into the program, the best thing to do is to bid welcome. And the person to do that is none other than the indefatigable Miss Ingrid Parchment.
Thank you, Angelo. Good morning, all. Happy International Fisherman's Day 2022. So the theme for this year is small in size, big in value. And so what we are recognizing there is that artisanal fishers are perhaps a small part of the overall economic sector in Jamaica, but we think their contribution is big, big, big in value. Big. On behalf of the International Fisherman's Day Planning Committee, which is made up of CCAM, National Fisheries Authority, Jamaica Fishermen's Cooperative Union, Portland Bight Fisheries Management Council, and Food for the Poor, I want to welcome you all here to the 23rd staging of the International Fisherman's Day celebrations. This year is particularly significant because it has been declared by the United Nations as International Year of Artisanal Fishers and Aquaculture. We recognize that we are still in a pandemic, so we limited the number of persons. Hopefully next year, we will be able to have more persons face-to-face, and we can get back up to our numbers of 250, 300. But I do recognize that there are persons who are at other sites. So I want to acknowledge the persons who are at the Montego Bay site and the aquaculture site, and those persons who are online. Welcome. I want to give special welcome and speeding journeys to Minister Frank Witter. I want to welcome Permanent Secretary Dermon Spence. Thank you for coming, Dermon. I want to welcome the representatives from all the partner agencies, GIS and the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, including those who are mounting displays or presenting. I want to welcome the students and teachers from Hayes Primary and Junior High. You see some little ones in the middle and they're going to be performing for us. Clap them now, clap them now. I want to welcome the fisher folks from all across Jamaica, from Moran Point to Negril, from St. Anne's Bay to Rocky Point, from Oracabessa to Salt River, all across Jamaica, whether you're online or in place, welcome. This is your day. We're here to celebrate your contribution. We recognize that Minister Charles and Dr. Bellamy are unable to be here in person. However, we hope they're able to join us online as they are in Portugal as part of the Jamaican delegation at the Oceans Conference. We hope that their participation there will help to support the improvement in the fisheries sector locally, also increase the number of marine protected areas in Jamaica, as well as increasing the contribution to the existing fish sanctuaries, which have not received their subventions since the start of 2022. Again, welcome to all. I hope we have a very interactive session and we leave feeling that the time was well spent. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Parchment. And with that spirited welcome, we hope that we can continue the rest of the program with that much energy and vibe. So we should now have a greeting from Dr. Gavin Bellamy from the National Fisheries Authority. As Ms. Parchment says, he is physically in Portugal at the moment. I don't know if my techie people have organized for him to join us virtually. Yes? No? If not, we could come back to him later. No. All right. Let us move on then to the greeting. Now, your program says, I'm sorry, I'm not hearing. No. All right. So we're going to go on. We have a greeting from Dr. Crispin Moreira, who is the country representative for the Food and Agricultural Organization. Again, he is not here physically, but he has sent a message. We are now going to hear a recorded message sent by Dr. Moreira, who will be delivered by video by Ms. Janelle Tomlinson. Can we have that message, please? Thank you.
Pleasure to bring greetings on behalf of the FAO representative for Jamaica, Dr. Crispin Moreira, and to join in Jamaica's celebration of International Fisherfolk Day. This year, we celebrate the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture, a most fitting year to recognize the contribution of our fishers, fish workers, and fish farmers, our food heroes at sea, who contribute to our nation's food security and the country's economy. It is an important day to examine the ways in which we can strengthen the fisheries industry by investing in its core workers. Fishing remains one of the most dangerous livelihoods in the food and agricultural sector in Jamaica. This is further compounded by the fact that fisherfolk and their families, particularly in small and developing states like Jamaica, are some of the most vulnerable to environmental degradation, shocks, disasters, and climate change. Sometimes, these events cause many fishers and fishing communities to be displaced or cause casualties. These impacts disrupt families, livelihoods, production, and ultimately food security and growth. Furthermore, we have seen how climate change has contributed to reduction in the production of our fishers. In a recent assessment of Jamaica's food systems conducted by FAO and the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, it was noted that fishers from some communities had to venture further out to sea due to the damages caused by storm surges. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the reality of our fisherfolk, especially our small-scale fishers. Understanding these and other challenges Globally, FAO has developed a roadmap called the Blue Transformation, geared at the transformation of aquatic food systems to sustainably feed the world's growing population into the future. This is supported by other efforts to grow the blue economy in a way that keeps its workers at the heart of the process. In Jamaica, plans are underway to build the capacity and resilience of fishers and communities in Rocky Point with the hope of scaling up to other communities. These initiatives are being driven by FAO, UNDP, and RADA. Today, FAO will also launch its 2022 State of the World's Fisheries and Aquaculture Report, a critical reference for governments, policymakers, academics, civil society, and all actors working in the fisheries and aquaculture sector. These plans are being put in place, but we do need accelerated action to strengthen our fisheries and aquaculture sector. Ladies and gentlemen, fisher folk are crucial to value chains and play a huge role in the protection and sustainability of our fisheries and aquaculture sector. They are small in scale, but big in value. Access to markets, appropriate infrastructure, inclusive value chains, all enable them to better provide affordable, high-quality fish products, foster economic development, and generate employment. Our fishers, fish workers, and fish farmers are vital in ensuring the responsible management and sustainable use of living aquatic resources and their supporting ecosystems. By ensuring that they have decent working and living conditions, they can have more secure livelihoods and maintain their social, physical, and cultural well-being and enjoy a better life. In Jamaica, the fisheries and aquaculture sector contributes to food security, tourism, and the livelihoods of coastal dwellers. So today, let us celebrate and thank the brave men and women who navigate these Caribbean waters for lives and livelihoods. Let us find ways of building a stronger relationship with them and identifying ways to improve their livelihood conditions and incomes. Let us work together to ensure their effective participation in decision-making processes so that they can help to shape the laws and policies relating to small-scale artisanal fisheries and aquaculture. Let us find ways not to only build their resilience to shocks, threats, and crises, but to ensure that they have adequate social safety nets to support them in a sustainable and equitable way. Let us open avenues for their increased access to financial services. Let us continue to push for greater access to social protection that can support and protect our fishers. Let us work to evaluate current governance and institutional arrangements in the sector to address some of the challenges facing the sector. Let us put our fisher folk at the heart of our development of fisheries and aquaculture. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot delay. Now is the time. Have a wonderful International Fisher Folk Day. Thank you.
All right. Give her a hand. Come. Although read by Ms. Tomlinson, those were the words of Dr. Crispin Moreira. And there was much in there that we can chew on and that augurs well for what is hoped for and planned for this sector. So, why do we have an International Fisherman's Day, which has now spiraled into International Year of Artisanal Fishers and Aquaculture? Because it is recognized that though small, remember what the slogan is? Small in size, big in value. Everything that you little fishers do in your individual capacity explodes exponentially to value and good health for your community and Jamaica. So it is reason to celebrate. It is a hard job. As she said, it is a dangerous job. So somebody has to big you up, and here we are doing it. Big up to fisher folk. Yay! All right. There's all kind of excitement things that are going to happen today. We have giveaways. from some of our benefactors. I have some gift vouchers from Hypro. I have some tokens from the World Bank and all kind of things to give away. So you have to listen or come and go ask you questions about what was said. And if you get them right, you get a prize. You get one of these tokens, all right? So the next item on the agenda, no word on whether we're going to hear from Dr. Bellamy? No? All right, you need to signal when he can come in. But we're going to move on. And you remember Ms. Parchment said we had some students. We had some students from Hayes Primary and Junior High. Students, where are you? Yes, we're going to hear from the students now. Give them a big hand of applause to welcome them.
Oh, we need more century. Oh, we need more fish century. Oh, conservation. Oh, conservation. No more overfishing. No more overfishing. You need to protect fill habitat with tight fear hide from fishing nets. I just say I did my brother lose him life. The one lion feet just take him out. Oh, we need more fish century. Oh, we need more fish century. Oh, conservation. Oh, conservation. No more overfishing. No more overfishing. Take care of no mess, we tired of the stress. No coral reef, no place to we hide. We small in size but big in value. Make we grow, make we multiply. Oh, we need more fish century. Oh, we need more fish century. Oh, conservation. Oh, conservation. No more overfishing. No more overfishing. Small in size but big in value. Thank you.
Clap them better than that, man. Come. Out of the mouth of babes. Wow. Special thanks to whoever groomed them and prepared them with that message. So on point. Oh my goodness. All right, so before we go on, we have a very pleasant surprise in store for you. But before I do that, I want to give away one of the prizes. So I want somebody to tell me which one of the bites, you know, the BIGHT bite, right? That was instrumental in the whole conceptualizing of the Caribbean Coastal Management Foundation. There was a particular bite that was part of the conversation when it started back in the year. I will use that as another question. Who can tell me? I'm not seeing. Yes? At the back, yes? Portland bite. Give him a hand. Give him one of the vouchers, or what you have for him, yes. Make sure my staff sees you to give you a prize. Well done. Portland bite was, we don't have any camera for that. Or they can come up. Come up so we can see you, whoever is come up, man. All right. So I tell you, be on your P's and your Q's. We're going to have some questions like that, and you can win things. So I said that we were going to have a surprise. There is a gentleman sitting with me at the head table. He's a very important person in the lives of fishers and other persons in agriculture and fisheries. Oh, here comes our friend. What's your name, sir? Tell us your name. Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor, clap him, win a prize. God bless you, sir. All right, good. Right, so it is my very pleasant duty to welcome to the podium our permanent secretary, Mr. Dermot Spence. He is the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, and Mr. Spence is not on the program, but he's here because he considers this an important way to spend some of the time of his day, and he has a few words for us. Mr. Spence.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Angela Pattison, our Senior Director for Corporate Services at the NFA. Yeah, although she's up here as Master of Ceremonies, that's her substantive title and position within the fisheries business. So in her capacity of Master of Ceremony, I think she has been doing a fantastic job so far. Yeah. Mr. Arville Palmer, who is sitting right in the front here, has just joined us. He's the Chief Technical Director in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, under whose portfolio all of this fish business falls. Mr. Stephen Smichael and Mrs. Smichael and their growing son. What's his name again? Theodore. Theodore? How are you? I haven't seen you in a little while, so I suspect we can catch up and have a little conversation. I bet he doesn't remember me. But it's good to see you both, Smichaels. Both are directors within the NFA, one for marine and one for aquaculture. Basically the left and right hand of Dr. Bellamy, who is the Chief Executive Director, who is not here this morning. Along with the minister, he's in Portugal. Dealing with what? fisheries business. Otherwise, for an important day like today, as we celebrate International Fisherman's Day, they would not have missed it for anything. But they are in Portugal, furthering the interests of the fisheries sector by very advanced and ministerial high-level discussions. I want to also recognize Mr. Dean Brown. He's sitting right here, one of our senior officers within the Fisheries Authority. And I'm not sure if Miss Ione Henry from the Jamaica Fisherman's Corps, she's here? On the back, she's here. I want to recognize her presence here today. And of course, Mr. Sean Taylor, very well-known gentleman within the fisheries sector, I'd step forward. Is he still the chairman of the Jamaica Fishermen's Corps? Oh, so you are what now, Sean? Well. Yeah, that's fine. We thank you for the service that you delivered and the fact that you continue to play an important role in the lives of fisher folks and really workers in the fisheries sector. Yes. And the contributors to this sector. We also want to recognize the teachers and the students who have just performed from the Hayes primary and junior high. They still twin them. That's what I see here. But it's very important that we recognize and orient them to the business of fishing. And of course, most importantly, our fishers, our fish farmers, our fish industry workers, the people who sells fish for us, who supplies us, who ensure that distribution takes place, who participate in the entire value chain to ensure that this very delicate product is received in good condition for consumption. Last night I was up in Manor Park. I went to a fish restaurant. I have 2 of the fried ones in my fridge. And I had a steamed fish. It's always good. Jamaicans love to have an entire fish on their plate. And other specially invited guests who I perhaps have not recognized in my introductions, I want to welcome you on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and the NFA, and members of the media who are up here snapping away and trying to make stories of what we do. We can't do without them because they help us in carrying the message forward. Of course, social media is there now too, so people just use their smartphone and get some news out there. But the media people are able to do it in a very professional, a very organized, and give a good context to how we deliver what we do. I hope I would have captured everybody, including the partners who are working with us to ensure that today is being celebrated as it is. I'm not wearing my glasses, and I'm challenged accordingly. But there's food for the poor. There is the FAO, and that's why we have a message. And there's fishing for wealth and sustainability. Which group is that? There's a logo here. Huh? Okay. And there's the other one, which is this one? CCAM. All right. So I want to recognize all those contributing partners. Now, while I was sitting there, you perhaps would have noticed myself and Miss Parchment having a little chit-chat. And one of the questions I asked her was, what do they mean by small in size? You know, what do they mean by small in size? Well, as she came to the podium and explained, that was the explanation that she gave to me. But you know, while she was explaining, I was thinking about it and I kind of begged to differ. Well, maybe that's how the team is, and it's recognized the fact that it's dealing with artisanal, as she explained. But I despite its contribution to GDP being small, I didn't really fathom nor see it this way, that the artisanal fisheries sector is small in size, because it is, and it makes up the majority of the fish and nutrition from the blue economy supply system in Jamaica. We're talking about over 200,000. Yes, operating within this space. And according to the FAO, some 492 million people whose lives are centered around all of this business of what we are calling artisanal fisheries. To a certain extent, then, it is so impactful that to view it as small, you really would be fooling yourself. So even though you are saying, you know, based on the team, small in scale, it is big in value, but more so the impact that it has had over the years. So many persons, so many people depend on it. So as we encourage you today in recognition of the contribution that you all have made to this sector, we are saying that the ministry and the NFA have been revamped, have been restructured and reorganized, are also restructuring and revamping and reorganizing the programs that we aim to deliver in support of fisherfolk. And fisherfolk covers it all. We are strengthening our approach in terms of extension support. We are strengthening our approach in terms of the kinds of programs that will help you to diversify and enhance what you do in the fishery space. Most importantly, we continue to bemoan the fact that there's been an increase in the frequency of attack, yes, and loss of lives experienced by fisherfolk as they try to ply their livelihood. Just this week, a gentleman from, I think it's Lionel Town, was attacked by a shark. Not a pretty sight to see, and the fact is, it is very active harm, the ones that he uses normally, that he has lost. His story is quite telling. A number of them went down diving. Something even bounced on him and he thought it was one of the other divers, only to be attacked by a shark. We are imploring, and we must, at the NFA and the ministry, continue to work with the fisherfolk to enhance safety, protection, and security at sea. We must. I'm certain it involves training. It involves any new technology that we can apply. Yes? Any strategy that we need to learn. And if we need to bring the experts from wherever they are around the world, the people who study the main kind of attacks that we would experience, we need to do it. So I'm giving you that commitment today that we must structure and deliver training for our fisher folks in the area of safety of sea in this regard. Importantly, we need to strengthen and continue the registration process so we know who our people are and where they are when they go out there, so that if it comes down to rescue, identification, we know who we are looking for and who we are dealing with, and we can verify that you are registered and certified fisherfolk. Don't take it for granted. We crave your support and your indulgence as we seek to provide the services for you. Most importantly, we recognize the value of your contribution. Significantly, we want you to continue to do what you do to provide for your families, to provide for the country in the most efficient and effective way, and to raise the standard of living so that we all, as fisherfolk, can enjoy a decent livelihood. Now, there's a message that I leave with you. We have gone through great lengths to get insurance companies to come on board. And the last time I checked, I was really not satisfied with the uptake of the plan by fisher folks. I'm appealing to you because you can see now, in times like these, how relevant and how difficult it can be if you find yourself in a situation where you are challenged to continue your livelihood or to provide for your families, or you need the kind of intervention that we'll have to provide now in support of an incident like that which occurred. So I'm imploring you, let's work together to make this happen for the good of the sector. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a happy day. Because the fact is, we are here to celebrate. And we will not allow anything to prevent us from celebrating. Because it's good when you have worked long and hard and make your contribution that you are recognized. And we want to let you know that this country values your contribution, and the ministry and the NFA will continue to work with you for the betterment of the sector, for the betterment of yourselves, and for the betterment of the country. I thank you.
Thank you. Come and do a little bit better than that, man. Come. Yes. That is it. We want a good fisherman's round of applause. Thank you so much, PS. Thank you. And we appreciate those words. I can tell you that the representative from Sagicor is here to talk about what PS just said about insuring yourselves. But before I invite him up here, I want to give away another little something. This time I'm going to give away a voucher. The voucher is from HiPro. It is worth $5,000, so you know that this can't be a pure question. And so I want somebody to come up here and tell me, let me tell you what the question is now. When was the first International Fisherman's Day conference held in Jamaica? All right, find a microphone. When was the first International Fisherman's Day conference held in Jamaica? No, you just answered a while ago. Oh, you sure? Oh, all right. Find a mic and come tell us. No, not at all. Turn on the mic. Can somebody turn the mic? There you go. Yeah, say that again.
1995.
No, 1995 at all. Next one. No, I know that.
1999.
Tell you what, if you're going to answer, go to the mic for me.
1999.
1999.
99.
That is the right answer, Miss Ingrid? All right. Go and give the man his voucher. All right. Well done. Yes. 1990. And if you were listening carefully, because she said this is the 23rd year. Aye. So that's why I'm saying, with what I have to give away, I have to listen. We're not going to ask you anything that you're not hearing about. So I have to listen carefully. Pay attention. All right. So we're moving along. I'm not sure if Minister will turn up. So the question and answer session, he will? He will turn up. All right. So we will wait. We will see Minister when we see Minister. All right? So the question and answer session that you have on the program at this time was in anticipation of him being here, so we could have asked him some questions. So we hold that until later, okay? All right. So the next thing we're going to have now is a presentation from the Sagicor representative, who I believe is here. Where's the Sagicor rep? Yes? All right. So could you come up here, sir, and let us hear from you and hear what you have to tell the good people. I'm sorry, it wasn't you. All right, so it's the video presentation. Mr. Master Controller, can you line up that introduction of new gear technology? That is the one for now. It says Sagicor on the program, but it wasn't him. You don't have a video? No, they don't have that video. All right, well. So where's the video? All right, while they sort that out, let me give away something else. All right, so now we have done, okay, so here's another question. My runners with the prize, line up another prize. Give me 2 activities that have happened in previous International Fisherman's Day celebration. 2 activities. Just go to the mic if you know. 2 activities that have happened in International Fisherman's Day celebrations in the past. So if you know, come now. Go on, thing. You know, we have all kind of things that we do. Today, it happens to be a conference in a closed space, but we have done other things. Nobody knows? Look like I forgot up this to a $5,000 question. Tell me 2 activities that have happened in past International Fisherman's Day activities. Yes? I'm not hearing you. Turn on the mic so we can hear her, please. Not hearing you. Regatta, is that what you said? Yeah, regatta and a conference. Yes. Yes. Woo. Give her our $5,000 voucher. Give her our $5,000 voucher. Well done. Well done. All right, so have we sorted out the matter of the video? Are we ready with the video? No? Okay, all right, so we'll do another giveaway. All right, so tell me, I want to know 2 of the partners who are part of the planning committee for International Fisherman's Day. This is not a $5,000 question, this is another question. 2 partners who are on the planning committee. Oh, I see the minister. All right, hold that thought. Think about it. Can we give Minister a rouse of applause as we welcome him? Welcome, welcome, Minister. We'll give you a few minutes to catch your breath. So yes, I was asking who are two partners who are part of the planning committee. If you have an answer, come to the mic. Yes.
MFA and CCAM.
NFA and?
CCAM.
Woo! Give her a prize, give her a prize. Well done, well done, well done. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Minister is here, so we'll still give him a few minutes. You would have heard about the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. This is a movement by the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, and 2022 was declared to be the year of those persons. And again, just like how we're having International Fisherman's Day, they declared 2022 as such a year because they're acknowledging the millions of small-scale fishers, fish farmers, fish workers, who provide healthy and nutritious food to billions of people and contribute to zero hunger. That is what you do. The aim of this year is to focus global attention on the role that small-scale fishers, that's why it says in the theme, small in size, because you're small in scale, but we know that the value and the punch is big. So it's the workers in this industry who provide food security, nutrition, poverty eradication, and sustainable use of natural resources. You see all the things that you do? You didn't know that you do all those things? All right. Okay, Minister, can I call on you now? Yes? Minister, you ready? All right. So, give him a good reasons to stand up. Come, clap him. We are now going to hear from the Honorable Minister, Frank Witter.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I just want to apologize for my lateness. I was late anyhow, but when I got into Hayes, I was trying to find the location, and somebody sent me into a lane. So I was there driving around, going around and round and round until I find the location. I know Hayes very well, but just on the main streets. So I didn't know that this location was on the main, so I was looking to going into the deeper part of the community. But nonetheless, I want to thank God for journeying mercy to get all of us here safely. I also want to apologize for Minister Charles. I know Permanent Secretary would have gone through that already. I know this is his constituency, and therefore he would have loved to be here, I know, but he's not in the island now, so I'll be fitting in for your minister and your member of parliament. Members of the head table, members of the fishing community, officers from the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, other agencies, media representatives who are here. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Just want to say how happy I am to be sharing in this exercise here today, the recognition of International Fisherman's Day. And just to say that I think this is a very special day for our fisher folks. And as we celebrate, I'm looking forward to greater things from here on. I'm very pleased to address you today on another International Fisherman's Day to recognize and celebrate the invaluable contribution that our fishers and the fish farmers are making to nation building. Indeed, you are a very important part of the agricultural and fisheries sector, and I am very pleased to be celebrating with you today. Fisheries is one of the main economic activities in most rural coastal areas. This is a very important economic activity in most of the coastal communities across the length and breadth of Jamaica, and indeed, the same can be said for most countries around the world. This year is being recognized by the Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO, as the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. This is intended rather to highlight the importance of small-scale fishers, fish farmers, and fish vendors to the fisheries sector in providing nutrition and food security to the nations and the world. As Minister with the responsibility for fisheries, I wish to salute you for all your enterprise, your skill, your bravery, and most of all, your resilience. And when I speak to the issue of bravery, while I was growing up, and I single out bravery because I always believe that persons who are involved in fishing, especially those who go on those small boats in the open waters, I always tell myself, growing up, that I would never enter that profession. Never. I always say that. And I remember going to the fishing community in Alligator Pond. I live close to Alligator Pond with my mother. And in those days, I used to say to my mother, I don't think we should ask the fishers, what is the price and cost of the fish. Because when I see that little boat in that water coming, and we sit here and we wait, I say I would never go there. So whatever the cost is, we should pay. That is how I think about the bravery of our fishers in Jamaica. This year is particularly important as we are currently emerging from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, which is which to an extent stifled productivity in the sector. And coming out of COVID, the challenges that all the various industries would have faced, and the fishing industry was not spared. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very, very admirable to note that throughout this COVID-19 pandemic, fishers have proven their resilience by risking their lives to continue to provide food for the nation and for their families, by sustaining the supply of fish and food products along our value chain. I wish to assure you that the ministry values very much the contribution of the fisheries sector to the national economy, and it is our aim to diversify and increase the contribution of the fisheries sector to agricultural GDP. In order to achieve this, we have invested in programs that will support the social and economic aspect of the sector, as well as sustain fisheries and aquaculture resources. As you are aware, in 2021, the ministry, working with Sagicor and Advantage General Insurance Company, have implemented insurance programs for fishers and fish farmers that will protect life, health, property, including fishing vessels. This is the first of its kind in Jamaica. Sagicor has reopened its intake for the health and life insurance program, and this will be closed in July 2022. So I'm imploring you as fisher folks to grasp the opportunity and make sure that you get access to these offerings in terms of making sure that you're insured. I wish to urge you to make sure that you access the opportunities that are being offered. The ministry is intent on improving occupational safety and health in the fisheries sector. Training in safety at sea will be done through Caribbean Maritime University. 35 young fishers will benefit island-wide. Beneficiaries will be trained in navigation, small boat handling, and will receive life jacket, GPS compass, and certification at the end of the training. 12 additional young fishers will benefit from training in safe scuba diving practices through the University of the West Indies. The beneficiaries will be trained at PADI open waters and will receive dive watch and certification at the end of the training. Furthermore, workers in the sector will be assisted in the transition from informality to formality through a training of the trainers program in small business and occupational safety and health for fishers and fish farmers. This will be done in collaboration with the Hard Trust NTA and the International Labour Organization. As we broaden the opportunities in the sector, the ministry is supporting a fisheries production incentive program that will finance the development of new and underutilized fisheries and aquaculture resources. For example, 2 fishing community groups, one in Green Island, Hanover, and the other in Savlamar, Westmoreland. And that is where we begin, and this will be extended across the entire fishing communities in Jamaica. These communities will receive support to develop and expand oyster farming in their respective communities. The production incentive program and other projects, such as the ongoing World Bank-funded pilot project for climate resilience, will also support alternative livelihoods in sea mass production and the fishing offshore for larger pelagic fishes such as tunas. Also, the ministry is seeking to expand opportunities in aquaculture through facilitating diversification of the sector, strengthening extension services, and working with stakeholders to solve some of the critical issues that have affected the growth of the sector. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank the National Fisheries Authority, the Caribbean Coastal Area Management Foundation, the Jamaica Fishermen's Cooperative Union, and Food for the Poor, who since 2009 have been planning and coordinating this International Fishers' Day celebration. I thank them on their hard work in ensuring that the vital and invaluable contribution of our fishers and fish farmers to the social and economic well-being of Jamaica is fully appreciated and recognized. I want to thank you for your presence here today, and just to say to you that the ministry is committed to give whatever support that is available and necessary to ensure that the fisheries sector continue to provide the necessary nutrition and employment for our people who live in the coastal areas and rely deeply on fishing as a part of your economic activity and survival. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Minister. All right, so I know you have many questions for the Minister. We're going to take a few. You can take some questions. If you're going to ask a question, would you please go to the mic at the back of the room? Mr. Technical Operator, if you could bring one of the mics up here so that Minister can respond. Yes. So Minister said a lot of things that are of import. I certainly heard a lot of things that are interesting and important. So please go to the microphone with your question, and the Minister is here. Make sure you make a response, you get your question in. Although he said that Minister Charles is overseas, you should know that Minister Witter is the minister responsible for fisheries. So this is the right man. Make sure you come and ask your questions. Now is the time. Don't miss an opportunity to get your question in and a response from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Good day, everyone. Yeah. Mr. Mitchell here from Ons Bay Fishing Village and the new Causeway Fishing Complex. I am also the president of the Ons Bay Fisherfolks Benevolent Society. Sir, Mr. Minister, you say in your speech that you will do anything it takes to enable the fisher folks, artisanal fisher folks, to transform themselves, right? And I hear said you was at a beach and you saw that little boat coming and blah, blah, blah. And you wouldn't go out there and you pay any amount of money for the fish. My question to you now, sir, about the small fisher folks, that when the big conglomerate come in to build their hotels and do their businesses, why the little fisher folks have to be squeezed one side or pushed in some alligator mode? Why we can't diversify against the big man who have the bunch of money? Them have to take we and should be one side, and when the tourist dollar, the greenback come to spend, we can't inherit some of it. Why, sir? We need the reduction of beaches to stop. Because I heard about the reduction of beaches, and when they are reducing the beaches, they are taking the artisanal fisher folks from the natural resource, like the natural sea sand that clean the nails and keep the foot smooth, and then push them to some little muddy place, just like they did to us. I am talking of experience, and leave the big conglomerate to do as they like. We need them thing here to stop.
All right.
We need them thing here really to stop. And fisher folks, I'm imploring to you, when you see you have a little beach and the man with them big money come, we have to diversify. We have to live together. Just like Kingston Freeport Terminal Links, KFTL said, we have to coexist.
All right. Give Minister a chance to answer now.
If there's no coexistence, we don't think them a help with. Right? It don't mean help with talk, it need with resource. And when I say resource, not just monetary resource, we mean the natural resource. We must inherit the same land that the Spanish man built him hotel pan, that the Stuart built his hotel on, we're supposed to coexist together, right? As long as we are doing the right thing, which is fishing, of course.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mitchell. Thank you very much, Mr. Mitchell, for your observation and concern. As was mentioned in my presentation, we are seeking to provide the necessary leadership and to provide you with training so you can adapt to the issue of climate change, which would have been a great impact on the fishing villages. I know you have the rise in sea levels and so on, which is also eroding the beaches. So in terms of the ministry's ability to ensure that you exist, as you know, when there's development along the beaches and coastline in terms of hotels and so on, those decisions are really made by the National Environment and Planning Agency, who normally would do the assessment in terms of whether these areas are suitable for hotels and so on. But our intention really is to make sure that we give you the necessary training, the necessary support that you can adapt to any changes that might occur in terms of your own existence along your areas that you would have do your fishing. So we are here to give you the support. What you need to do is to make representation to the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries as it relates to any concern you have, and then we will bring in the technical person from the ministry to look at your concern and make sure that we protect you and protect your livelihood.
All right. Thank you, Minister. Next question. Yes?
Yes. As a member of the Jamaica Fishermen's Cooperative Environmental and Climate Change Committee, we are on a tree planting exercise, and which, in line with government 2030 plan, we are asking the minister, how can he assist us in going forward in this venture? And the other one is, we have been asking government for years about the consumption tax that have been put onto gasoline that was put there to help with the rebuilding of roads and things like that. But fishermen don't really have no road out to sea if we road them always bad. And the next thing is that with the removal of from fertilizer, you bring down the price for the fertilizer, and at this crisis that we are having now to buy the fishing gas to go to sea, we are asking if it is possible for you to look in that direction and see how you can remove that consumption tax, that the fishermen can get a little ease, and and those that purchase the fish also. Thank you very much. Sean Taylor, the name.
Very good question. And in terms of the that the ministry has a ongoing project where you can access trees from RADA. So if you visit our RADA office in respect purpose. Yes. You can rather with the RADA office, because so if you visit your RADA office in your respective areas, you can get support in terms of the tree planting program. The trees are available. You just need to put in your request and you will be able to get some support there. In terms of the cost of fuel for the fishers. This is something that I'm really sympathetic to the fishers. And I know that the government would have given some support to the taxi operators, some relief in terms of a one-off cash payment to taxi operators to cushion some of the costs of the gas. And I've been preparing myself to. I've already spoken to the CEO of the Fisheries Authority to prepare a cabinet submission, and I will be speaking with Minister Charles so that we'll be able to make that submission to provide a similar relief program for the fisher folks. That is something that we have considered and making preparation to make submission to cabinet. So you will hear further as it relates to what will come from that cabinet submission. But I'm sympathetic with your position in terms of the cost of gas.
All right. Before you ask your question, sir, we have online persons from Montego Bay, and we understand that they have questions. Persons in Montego Bay, would you put your questions in the chat, and we will have somebody bring them so that Minister can address them. Okay? All right, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Sorry about that. My name is Neville Crawford, the Rocky Pine Fisherman. Attend Seventh-day Church of God in Portland Cottage.
Okay.
Mr. Minister, I sit the other day and I listen over the TV, and I hear the minister speaking on about 18% tax come off fertilizer. And I don't hear Unu speaking about taking off the consumption tax off of the gas, fisherman gas. And what I'm saying, you see, come up here and sit and speak. Pretty argument and pretty talk don't take. It don't take. I don't bite that. Because it's long time we hearing about pretty this and pretty that, and we're going to do for fisherman and this and that. And I don't see anything turn up. This gas business went fly green. Just come as Minister of Agriculture. I am the first one who suggests that to him in our meeting right here. So we ask him to see if him can take off the tax off of the gas. That's we fishermen can survive. When you look at one roll of wire move from 16,500 to 23,000, 25,000 and 30,000, how can fishermen survive in this gas crisis? Speaking about insurance, how can we pay insurance in this gas? If me I go to see right now, I'm going to have $60,000 to buy gas. Will never move. Look at ice. You have to buy 5 or 6 black of ice to carry and see if you do 4, 5, 6 days out there. When you load in a boat to go to sea, you know how much money that it costs to go out there? And the gas. We're not saying you do anything to fishermen. All me I'm going to say you just sit down in an office and talk pretty this and pretty that. I'm going to see you not do anything to the fisherman. You just sit back and drink and eat drink champagne and eat the big food. And fisherman have to sit back, so all you know what to do. Just come in and pressure fisherman. Put on more pressure on fisherman. The other day, I couple of in a meeting. You know how to move the lobster from 3 months to 5 months. I don't know if any other fisherman ever know about it. From 3 months to 5 months, they want to put it as we are September. How can we survive? Eh? We don't need to stop with the pretty talk, man. We don't need to come up with something. We want to see action. We don't want to see no argument. Too much argument. Not going anywhere. You understand? We no argument now. We don't go sit down there and promise on this. I don't say we don't want to pay insurance, you know. We want to pay the insurance. We want to pay the insurance. But when we spend money and go to say you make $100,000 or $200,000, and you have to draw $100,000 out for gas and you have to pay man. How can you pay insurance? How can you feed your family? How can you wear clothes? How can you pay light bill? How can you pay water rate? Every month you not get to no salary, you know, so when we sit down and do everything and talk as you know like, you not get all free travel allowance. You not get all of something, so when we sit down and talk anything round table.
All right, thank you, Mr. Crawford.
That is my few words to you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, please allow Minister to answer that.
Mr. Crawford.
All right, quiet down, please. Quiet down, quiet down.
Mr. Crawford, I understand your concern. And as I've said in my presentation, that I understand the difficulty and the challenges that would affect our fisher folks. I go as far as to mention that I am prepared to pay any price for a pound of fish because I know how difficult it is to go out to sea and get your catch. But the difficulty that you are facing today as it relates to the cost of inputs for the fishing industry, that cost is something that is affecting the entire world. And I think everybody can understand what is happening in the world today. And therefore, no country is spared at this time as it relates to the difficulties that is affecting the world. And therefore, Jamaica is a part of the world. So we are going to have these challenges too. The important thing is how we manage the challenges that are there now. And as I've said before, I understand the difficulty with the cost of the gas for your activities. And I've already been looking at it. I've already spoken to the relevant persons who will prepare the necessary document and arguments to be submitted to the cabinet. Because as I've said before, the government considered to assist the taxi operators because of our recognizing the challenges that the taxi men face. And I believe that the same thing should be applied to the fisher folks. So as minister with that responsibility, I can tell you that I will be making sure that I make that submission and convince the cabinet to give some assistance to our officials in that regard.
Good evening. Morning to every fisherman and all who is in present. It is a very pleasant morning. Mr. Minister, I've listened to my brethren just finished talk about half of what I would say, so I don't have to go into it. Mr. Minister, we are here at a local fishermen conference. I have not seen too much which is done. I don't think this conference and your presentation should bring in agriculture because they are the wealthy set of people. They are not us. They are separated from us. So you should not come here to speak about them. You're supposed to speak about us. Mr. Minister, I have gone through all the ministers from the 80s, 70s, late 80s come up. And I yet to see one of you really take fishermen at heart. I have made several complaints many years straight, and this year may be the last time I'm saying, because I'm getting on in age, and I take a young, bright fisherman with me to begin to learn and to see what's going on to take over. Mr. Minister, I'm speaking to you direct, because you is one of them who give or support the licensing of the boat them that come from down west, and they come up in our water and them fishing. And you, Mr. Minister, with your colleagues, say you don't have the capability to monitor them. So if you can monitor a person, why did you people give them license? Mr. Minister, it has been many a years, I, Dennis Compton Campbell, struggle in fishing. I love it, and I still love it, and I will never go against it. It make me pick and go university. It make me daughter a big-time politician like you people too. But as I am saying to you, I have been making application, I have been saying things about the destruction of the reef. I talked to Mr. Khan, I talked to Mr. Khan not around anymore. May he rest in happiness. Mr. Minister, nobody cares about the marine corals that have been ripped apart by people who are using all them iron and crankshaft and chain, ripping down the reef when them set them net around the reef, mash up the reef to get a few fish. Tomorrow the fish them not do that, because the man will have to sleep now feed, and they move. None of you from the 80s until now have been calling on it. Do nothing about it. More than you set of people come here to make pretty talk. I am not here, Mr. Minister, to listen to pretty talk. I want to see action.
All right, sir. Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Minister, I am saying this to you. I may don't have all the head, but I have who have the head. And if we not do something about it, may I tell you straight, Mr. Minister, may I go lick you so hard in your ribs that you think I want every box or punch you. And while I say that to you, Mr. Minister, I am not making any bluff. If you doubt me, go to the university and ask Dr. Carl Akins about me, and you will know. If we not do something shortly, I go report Jamaica and the minister to the international community. I, Dennis Compton Campbell, challenge you on that. Do something about it. If we not do something, I go about this degradation of the reef, the seagrass, everything. You people, Mr. Minister, sit by and allow SEPRAD and its friends and big companies use all them runoff and all them destructive chemical killing the reef. And if you think so, make them net people who fishing, even sprat net in a Kingston Harbor, tell you the type of fish, sprat them are catching the, till you, and to the difference when you come on a beer bush, a different size. Mr. Minister, do something, and we're going to make something do. May God bless you.
All right, Mr. Campbell. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. I don't want you to give me any punch in my side, Mr. Campbell. I think you have me enough punch and verbal punch. Yes. So I'm going to make sure that I don't get any physical punch from you. But that is why we are here today, to discuss issues and concerns. I am a new minister in the post now for just 5 months. So some of the things that you express to me, I'm learning today. And that is why we are here, to learn from each other and to understand the challenges that are out there and how we can best together organize ourselves to deal with some of the challenges. So it relates to persons destroying the reefs and so on. That is something that I will make mention and report to NEPA. That is the agency that is responsible for that area, and therefore I'm taking note, and this is one of the issues that I will refer to them, and to say that these are some of the concerns expressed by the fishermen, and surely I know they will act and try to see what is happening and how best they can control. But then again, in terms of protecting your own industry, it is incumbent on the practitioners too to make sure that you practice according to the required specification. And some of the issues that we face today as it relates to the whole degradation of the environment, which includes the impact on the fisher folks. Some of the things are as a result of our own practice as citizens of the country. All of us are really guilty sometimes of not, making sure that we protect the environment, and then it will have negative impact on everybody, including you, the fisher folks. So we all need to, as we discuss these issues, we need to understand our own personal responsibilities too, to ensure that we protect whatever we have. And therefore, I'm going to make the necessary representation to ensure that we can look at some of these issues. As I've said, I'm just a new minister trying to learn from you, and that is why we are here today. I make note, and I will act.
So don't thump him down, Mr. Campbell. He'll learn. Yes, sir. I might just say, we have some viewers in Montego Bay on Zoom, and they want to ask questions as well. So after this gentleman, after you, I'm going to ask somebody, the master controllers, if they could open the mic to Montego Bay so we can take a question from the persons down there. Okay, so you go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm from the China Beach, Fisherfolk Friendly Society, the president, Mr. Stanford Hamilton. My first question to the minister, Mr. Witter. You're talking about sustainable fishing, and we are a small fishing group, just farming. We need development. So I'm asking the minister my first question. In your part of sustaining fishing, we need development. And we have to start first, develop from the beach. You understand? And on our beach now, we are just started. I'm just a new president for 2 years now. And we are doing a development pertaining to fishing village, like housing, office, and several other things. You understand? I'm not putting the asking the minister what is there for us as a small fishing group. What development can they do for us? You understand? Secondly, we are talking about sustainable fishing. But I don't think this fishing is sustainable, you know. Because when you look at gas and the price for nets and all the values pertaining to fishing, we the fishermen don't have no choice. Because if you tell a vendor or a house buyer the price for your fish, they don't want it. So I'm asking if there's any subsidy towards we the fishermen of the whole island for us to benefit. You understand? Because there's no benefit for us. Because look at like a small tank of gas. We normally used to pay $4,000 to fill it. Now we have to pay $7,500, $8,000. We have to buy ice. We have to pay all various kind of things. You understand? We have to find maintenance for the man for go to sea. Going to certain things take $60,000, $70,000. And you don't must catch some fish. When you come in with just a wet backside, as well them say, and a hungry goat. So I'm asking as the president of China Beach Fisher Force, is there any benefit for all of us as fishermen around the island? Substitute, where we can go to the cooperative, or buy a pound on it. We used to pay $1,700 a kilo for it. Now it's gone to $23,000 an odd. You understand? And if you go to cooperative union to buy something and you want a plastic bag to put it in, you have to pay that extra cost. So where's the benefit for us as fishermen? And you're talking about sustainable fishing. Those are the areas that sustaining fishing come. You have to first look down on the fishermen from the low level. We're not talking about aqua fishing, you know, because those are peerish people, you know. We're talking about aqua fishing, artisanal fishers, where them go all over the sea, from PBCJ Bank, Maranti, all about. But when you come here, what's the sustain? Nothing at all more than just expense. You understand? So I'm asking the minister now, if there's any benefit for us as fishermen to knowing that we can organize ourselves and get sustainable fishing through fisheries, or any ministry at all. As I told you that our fishing beach, China Beach Fisher Folk Friendly Society, located on Manly Boulevard, right just beside the power plant. We are young. We are old fishermen in the business, but we are young, just developing into a friendly society, trying to help ourselves. So I'm asking the minister if there is any form of benefit for us as fishermen. Thank you.
Mr. President, I think you're on the right track in organizing yourself into a friendly society, because coming out of that you will be able to, you can access resources to different funding agencies, and therefore I think you're on the right track. As I've said before, I understand the concern that the fishers have today in respect of input costs, and that is something that we are looking at the ministry to see how best we can give some support to help to assist the fishers. I've already told you that I'm preparing to make some submission for some relief to the fishers. So I'll be working on that, but I think you're on the right track in making sure that you organize yourself into a friendly society so that you'll be able to access funding. There are a lot of funds that are available and can be accessible from non-governmental agencies, and therefore that is one of the best ways to organize yourself. So I'm glad that you're doing that, but on my part I'll be making sure that I made some representation on your behalf to access some relief to the fisher folks.
All right. Thank you, Minister.
I'm sorry. Minister, this mic is on. It's on? Might I just add?
No sounds on. Use this one.
Doesn't sound that way. All right. So might I just add, and Mr. And Mr. Brown is here. We probably should invite them to inform some of the comments that were made about things that persons have been waiting on for some time. I'm going to start by saying that the Fisheries Department, Minister, that you all know back then no longer exists. You had called for it, and the government had responded in establishing what is called a National Fisheries Authority. Perhaps we have not spent the time to explain to the fisher folk. And recall that when Minister Green was here, we went around and we spoke directly to fisher folk. The NFE is the National Fisheries Authority. It's not a fisheries department again. What it means is that there's a new act that has empowered this agency with an executive director, enforcement team, new and varied positions that are created to respond to the varying components and needs of the sector. That business about rights of fishermen under the new act, that is something that is being treated with. We need to communicate it more, and we are going to. That business about protection of the reef, that business about sustainable approach to fishing, all of those things will be addressed and are being addressed in the new law. The cooperation with the police, marine police, as well as NEPA is specifically being addressed, because we also have an enforcement unit within the NFA. It is a revamped organization that is not only looking at strategically where fisheries need to go, but is building resilience. Much of you are talking, even want to punch a minister in his short rib. I am happy. We don't regard it as a threat. He has security here. I am very happy that, you know, even some persons that spoke mentioned that they go to church on Saturdays, because perhaps if they didn't go to church, they wouldn't be as calm as they did when they expressed themselves. But what we have come to recognize, even as you talk about license to people and people coming over and fishing, you yourselves are to be accused and are responsible for a lot of the malpractices that are taking place out there. You are also responsible for what is happening out there. You are doing a lot of things that you know is illegal and unsustainable. When I walk the beaches and I see you taking out the baby fish, baby parrot, baby snapper, you tell me that boy is what come up in the net. What is coming up in the net? What is coming up in the net that is not correctly sized? You are aware of the persons, a lot of them, who are damaging the coral reef by the contraptions that they have out there drawing behind their boats. And are we getting the reports? So yes, we need to strengthen policing, but we can't do it alone. There's no police force in the world that can police their country alone. Citizens have to be a part of it. And especially the ones that are responsible for the industry that is threatened. So it's just like a family, you know. Sometimes we agree if we disagree and rough spot, but what we do? We love each other. Gone to bed because we are going to sleep every night. And that's how we have to work in the fisheries business. It is not about no big man with no hotel that come to push anybody aside into any mud. It's about how we work. Why are all these organizations are cooperating here today? Why these organizations are talking about the thing? It's not just a talk shop that we are having here. We are talking about solutions. Solutions to the issues that you have long wanted to address. Remember, you know, We are building out protected areas. And your prime fishing spot, the Pedro Banks, is going to now be a protected area. We are moving fast with that. Not only given our international obligation, but our own responsibility to ensure that we provide a sustainable livelihood for you. New legislation is coming. And the legislation will come to protect you. So when you see it, it may look harsh up front and in the beginning, but if you work with it, you're going to see the results at the back end as they come true. The size of fish going to be regulated. Are you talking about the time that you are fishing conch and the time that you're fishing lobster? You realize that we had to close it the other day because of the level of poaching. And remember now, it's not only international poaching that is a problem in the Jamaica landscape. It is also local, national poaching. You don't stop fish the conch and supply it, even out of the season. So when we go to the survey, it is not there. We have to lock it down. And even when we lock it down, we still have to be charging people to go out there and do it. You look the world around. Don't look only at what is happening here. Internationally, the things that we are doing is what every country tried to do to protect the livelihood of fisher folk. So we must work together. There's no one way. We're not here dictating to anybody, you know. When we come in front of our fisher folk, and I hear you say you don't want to hear nothing about no farmer. It is the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. That's what it is. So we have to speak, because what you don't know, I think you know, because you say petrojam polluting the ocean. What the farmer do on land is exactly what is affecting the coral reef what you're talking about. So it's good that it is the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, because we have to try to control what they do on land that seeps straight into the reef and into the sea and impact what is happening out there for you. So we have to meet each other halfway, because we have to do what? Balance our lives. There's an important factor, you know, regardless of what we want to talk about here. This climate change business. It is impacting what is happening out there with the fish life, marine life, how they spawn, where they move to how they move. When you hear us talking about pelagic fishing and new species fishing, we are saying, let's not focus only. Every man wants a snapper or a parrotfish or a doctor. You name it, wenchman. Huh? Paragi. A paragi name. Them want it and them play it like that. When you go into the hotel, the people them want the sliced fish and all of that kind of thing. We have to learn that when we say that tuna is swimming past Jamaica, and that we want to establish a fisheries for the type of the pelagic species, what that means for the fisherman is a new opportunity we are opening up for you. Because everything that we know out there, the matter of climate change is impacting it. And we have to think ahead of it and create new opportunities for the fisher folk. What we are asking you to do is to come with us, to learn with us, and to diversify, open your mind and think about new things. Your daughter that is at the university will tell you, in the business of medicine, if she not understand change and applying knowledge to change, what would happen? Look at the pandemic. A virus out of nowhere. Look how much vaccine they have created. Some of them are about with 5th or 6th shot right now. Some of you take 2. Some of you don't even take none. Jamaica is the most unvaccinated country. But you know what I believe? We develop resistance to everything too. Mentally, physically, emotionally. So we are very resilient and strong people. We must use that resilience what? Creatively do. Not to be very good bad or very bad good. As how they typically like to describe Jamaican. A Jamaican is going to find his way around any obstacle that is placed in front of us. For this particular obstacle that we are talking about, the NFA has been created, revamped, re-established. We are building out the units now and putting in the staff in place. And it's all about addressing the concern of the national fisheries sector, of which all of you inside here, and some of you who are not here, are a part. So let us work together. If the minister tell you that he is giving you a commitment to moving a cabinet submission forward on the fuel business, believe him, it's not pretty talk. Because we have spoken about this much. Remember, a country have a big challenge, to find revenue. When we give you resources, as some of the stuff that you will get here today, it come out of the same money, the taxes of the fuel. Why do you think government find it so difficult to really move on the fuel? The fuel business is a major income for government. And remember, in the difficult time that we are in the difficult time that the country is in, coming out of the pandemic and all, hotel lockdown, remember, we had to intervene to move agriculture produce, to provide opportunities for fishermen, to give you back inputs to get you to go back to sea. Millions of dollars we distributed in terms of gears and all of this. You all get your 15, your 30,000, your how much, all across the island to help you to get back out there. So it's not like we are insensitive to the needs and the plight. But we have to work within a cooperative way in order to get the results that we need. And ministers given a commitment to moving a submission forward, you should really be giving a round of applause, because all the talk that go on is the first one that tell you, say, he is preparing a submission. He's not coming here to tell you no story. A submission is a serious decision, because it is going to be put in on the front, on the plate of his colleagues, his cabinet ministers, the matter to be addressed. Very important step. We have always tried to reach out to the Ministry of Finance and try to have the dialogue. He has decided that he is moving it forward. Very important step. So no jabbing at the ribs now go work this morning, yeah? Right? And no amount of Mr. Minister, what you do? Because we are telling you what we have done. And what we have done is in response to the years of call that you have made. We're fixing up the fishing beaches. I don't want to spend too much time, but you know the things are happening out there. So honestly to goodness, man, when you come here and we're sitting and we're talking, I mustn't go on like say nothing happening. Lots of things are happening, but still, more needs to be done. As a family, we are going to work together to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pierce. Thank you very much. Those things needed to be said. If I might be allowed a few minutes in furtherance of what the Permanent Secretary said about the formation of the National Fisheries Authority, I want to just call out some of the major players at that authority who are actually here with us this morning. I speak, for instance, of Mr. Stephen Smikle over there. Mr. Smikle, if you could just stand up, make me see you. Mr. Smikle is the Principal Director in charge of the Marine Branch, which deals with all of you artisanal fishers there. We also have Mrs. Avery Smikle, who is in charge of the Aquaculture Branch, where they are developing some of the other opportunities in aquaculture fisheries. We have with us Dr. Zara Oliphant, who is the Principal Director in charge of the Compliance Unit, PS. That compliance unit is in the process of recruiting compliance officers across the country. They're going to be going out every Saturday in July to recruit people from the particular areas to police the areas that you are saying the breaches are happening. So we are taking it seriously and things are being done. Dr. Oliphant is also in charge of the licensing and registration systems in the NFA, and she has a team there that is moving at knots. So it is not just talk. Things are going on. We have also Mr. Dehan Brown, who is our officer at Aquaculture, who is responsible for the development of the ponds and the other aquaculture areas there. So things are going. Do we have somebody from Montego Bay on the Zoom that wants to pose a question?
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, my name is Christopher Witter. I'm the cousin of the new minister, Mr. Frank Witter. I just want to say we need some help down here in Montego Bay as regards to the, the fishing equipment and all of that. If it'd be good if we could get some feedback on that from the minister. Thank you.
Could you repeat the question? Fishing equipment? What is it? I'm not sure.
Yes, the question is down here in Montego Bay, what are you doing to help the fisher folk down here? Because we need some help with fishing equipment and other things as regard to...
You mean help to purchase equipment?
That too, yes.
Okay.
Ask Mr. Smichael. Ask Mr. Smichael too.
Mr. Smichael, could you address that question for me, please?
You have to come where Mike is.
Morning again, everyone. For Mr. Witter and the fishers in Montego Bay, we would have met with you last year, over the last 2 years, regarding the plans that we have for Montego Bay specifically. You will recall that we are looking to develop the facility further in terms of enhancing the infrastructure that is on the beach to make things easier and safer in terms of your fishing operations. Now, we have some plans in place. We're still looking at the funding, Minister, because it's very expensive. We're talking about multi-millions of dollars. But over the next 2 to 3 years, you'll see that rolling out. All right? In addition to that, we have programs looking at diversification of fisheries. We spoke about tunas earlier. We know that the Montego Bay fishers are involved in fishing for pelagic. And that is one area that we are working with them in terms of building those skills. By December of next year, we should have completed that exercise. Look forward to seeing our team as well as consultants coming down to work directly with the fishermen in terms of training in these areas. Now, I know that there are other issues, Minister, that they have brought up, but we're working towards putting those together so we can make a submission to the ministry to see how the production improvement project can assist them.
Thank you, Mr. Smichael.
Greetings. Coming from Montego Bay again, greetings. Hello, greetings coming from Montego Bay. I'm Everton Malcolm Fisher from the Montego Bay Fisherman Cooperative Society. Here in my hand, as you can see, we have get registered, not cuffed it. And we have some technical problems to people that use it in Fisher's ID and license not going to see. My main concern is the person that going to get the license and registration to fish must be recommended from the captain of their boat because the land is overfished. And we have too much fishers that not doing anything with the license, but they accept things on the behalf of fisherman not going to sea. Thank you.
Who is this? She's in charge of. Oh, in charge of. Okay.
Hi, afternoon, everyone. Thank you for that question. It's an excellent question. It is certainly a concern. Just to advise that since we have in the last 3 weeks completed a new licensing and registration process for fishers, and we're currently doing the sensitization. One of the things that we have implemented is an increase in due diligence to ensure that persons who come to the NFA to get a license, there is indeed an intention to fish. And so these are some of the things that we have put in place, and we will be implementing very shortly. We are at the point now of sensitizing our fishery inspectors. These are the ones that you go to at your substations for licensing, so that they can be aware of what is happening. So you will be seeing changes soon in terms of how your the information that is contained on the licenses, the need to declare knowledge. So, for example, for those here in the room, there are some declaration of knowledge forms on the desk over to my right, your left, because included in the registration process, there will be a requirement to where the fishery inspector will go through a list of things pertaining to our law to ensure that you are aware of it, that you know that if you fish without a license, it is illegal. And as we work with building up our registration and building up our enforcement, that is how we will be able to ensure that persons who have a fishing license and a fisher's ID, they are indeed going to fish. So just to let you know that we have already finished the process. It's now in the stage of being implemented, and you will be seeing changes, you will be seeing new things, and you will be seeing improvement, and that is something that I can guarantee. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Oliphant. Dr. Oliphant, as I said earlier, is our principal director in charge of compliance, licensing, and statistics at the National Fisheries Authority. So I believe we have addressed that question. All right. Yes, I am noticing the line. We're going to have another question and answer session later on. We could ask Minister for ages, but we do have a program that we have to hold to, so I'm going to have to move on with the program, and we'll come back to it later, all right? I'm sorry about that, but we do have to hold to the time. There is a video we should have seen earlier about the new gear technology. That video is now queued. Mr. Master Controller, can you let us have that video, please? New gear technology. So that was Rescue Unit, and I'm sure their representative will be here for you to ask questions of them later on. Thank you for that. All right, so we're going to move on to the Sagicor representative, who is here to talk about Agricare, the insurance for fisherfolk and farmers. Mr. Sagicor.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Sorry, if I could just ask you to be quiet. We are transmitting this far across the world, so we need to be quiet. Thank you.
Pleasant afternoon to you, everyone. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Minister and other members of the head table. Also, our valued fisherfolk from all over Jamaica and everyone else watching, the members of the broadcast team. My name is George Corodos. I'm a financial advisor with Sagicor Life Jamaica Limited. I'm here to make a short presentation on the Agri-Care plan for farmers and fisher folk. Now, what is the Agri-Care plan? The Agri-Care plan is personal insurance, as in individual insurance for farmers and fisher folk. What it is, it's several areas that you can have insured. Firstly, there is the plan for in-hospital benefit. Now, in-hospital benefit speaks to having an assurance from the insurance company to say that if you have surgeries, if you have minor things like providing for prescription drugs and other minor areas that you need assistance with while in hospital, we will cover you for that. Now, there are 5 other areas that you can be covered for. It's in the areas of primary care, which is a health card. There is comprehensive care, which is another health card. There is the life insurance, very importantly. There is critical illness coverage, and then there's personal accident coverage. Now, why is it important to have an insurance product like this? Now, if we're going to have a sustainable industry, we must have to protect the main stakeholders. You are fisher folk. There is no fishing industry without you. You are the workhorses of the nation, and we have to protect you. That's the first step. Now, you can purchase insurance, as in life insurance, critical illness, and personal accident, up to age 75. Not only for yourselves, but this facility is extended to your dependents, which means your children. It's also extended to your common law spouse or your registered spouse, as in who you're married to. It's also extended to persons who might be employed to you. So, if you're a registered member of the NFA or RADA, and more specific to the body that we have here today would be the NFA, if you're registered and you're under the age of 75, you can make an application. Now, persons that are employed to you, all they would need to do is to have you, the employer, the registered person, sign on that application form in order to make an application. Your children, up to age 25, once they're in a tertiary institution, they can make an application just the same. Now, our enrollment period. Earlier it was said that it's only one enrollment period that is allowed. We have since moved past that, because rolling out the plan last year, we realized that we did not get to everyone within that 3-month enrollment period, which starts March 1st to May 31st. We have now added a second enrollment period, which starts in September, and it lasts for 3 months. How can you enroll? There are several ways. Application form from time to time will be distributed to the different cooperatives. There are the NFA offices, and then there are the RADA offices. I must say personally, I'm more in touch with the RADA offices than I'm in touch with the cooperatives. Now, I'm seeing a lot of faces in the audience that I already know from our different cooperatives. All right? There are other ways that we can also apply, which is online. sagicorjamaica.com/Agri-Care plan. And there's a link, there's a direct link that you can click on, and it will take you to that page that you can make your application. Now, paying for your plan. There are several options that you have. You can pay quarterly, you can pay semi-annually, or annually. Most of us in the fishing community do not have bank accounts. We do not have credit cards. So it may not necessarily be the best way for you to pay. you can pay for your plan at any Paymaster outlet or a Sagicor cashier. Sagicor Life Cashier, not Sagicor Bank. It's one of the main problems that we have. Persons are going to Sagicor Bank to pay for their Agri-Care plan, and it's not allowed. It's only Sagicor Life Cashiers and Paymaster outlets, which are island-wide, that you can utilize. Paymaster online, the same is accepted. Now, let me dig a little bit deeper into exactly what the Agri-Care plan offers, because we all want to know about the benefits, correct? All right, so the hospital care plan, it's a plan designed to help you cover the cost of large expenses related to surgery or hospitalization that may be as a result of serious illness and or severe accidents. For instance, it covers things like chemotherapy, radiation, and dialysis. These are very expensive procedures. And for a minimal cost, you can have that assurance from Sagicor that if this event should be realized by you, then you have a means of funding the necessary treatment. All right? Now, what might it cost? A quarterly, which means every 3 months. It may be as low as $5,009.40. So if you break that down, it's a little bit over, probably about $1,700 per month that you'd pay for that assurance. I'm sure that can be afforded by each and every member of this audience. Now, there are two health cards which are offered. There's a primary care, and then there is the comprehensive care plan. Now, personally, as a financial advisor, and I would have spoken to some of the members here today, I recommend the comprehensive care. The primary care is very good. It is affordable. But personally, it's a comprehensive care plan that I recommend. Why? It gives you a wider coverage. It's a health card. You can go to the doctor. You can go to your specialist. Prescription drugs is covered. The bends, as Fisherman, it is covered. It's a very expensive treatment, and you are covered. Why not sign up for this plan? No. For primary care one, we're looking at $7,351 per quarter. Break that down, it's just over $2,000. The comprehensive care, likewise, it has increased from last year's, almost $11,000 per quarter. Very much affordable. Very much affordable. I need to see more of our fisher folk applying for this plan and maintaining it. Now, the other three areas that you're covered for, I find that a lot of persons are not necessarily interested, and I really don't understand why. It's life insurance, critical illness coverage, and personal accident. I hear the talk about family, providing for family. I hear the talk about what the government can do for you. The first thing you have to do is to provide for yourself. You have to take care of your household. In order to take care of your household, you have to be well. Insurance is one of the main things that will afford you that. Unforeseen occurrences, none of us here can adequately say that I know that, or I know when something will happen. I know how much it will cost. I know how far it will extend. This is where Sagicor comes in and said, hey, the Ministry of Agriculture approached us to provide this facility for you. This is something that has been tried many times before. Progress is being made. I need you to come on board. I am the representative for Clarendon. Yes, I'll be here after. I'll be here until the program ends. Now, life insurance coverage. We can offer you a maximum of $1 million coverage. I do not encourage anybody to get less than $1 million coverage. As a personal financial advisor, I can tell you, I would love to have seen this as an increased amount. Now, for $1 million coverage for 3 months for an individual, it's $1,350. Can anyone break that down for me? 3, 4 is 12. It's a little bit of money. There's no one here that can tell me that they cannot afford a plan for $1,350 over a 3-month period. That's barely what, £1.5 pound of fish? Let's look at critical illness coverage. What are you covered for? Stroke. How many persons do you know that have been on the way from, say, Pedro Bank to mainland that died of a stroke? How many persons do you know that's suffering from glaucoma, heart attack? We have to understand that unforeseen occurrences, it makes no sense that you say, look, I'm going to save everything. I'm going to put everything in the bank. I'm going to ask the minister, ask the mayor to assist me if something should happen. It doesn't work like that. The first assurance comes from you, and the assurance is that I will maintain my plan. I will apply for this plan. I will maintain it. Why? Because I want my own independence. I want to take care of my family should anything happen. Critical illness is a living benefit. Now, the gentleman that lost his arm over the weekend, funny enough, I saw that in a WhatsApp group with my friends, and they were calling him by name, which means they know him. That's how I knew he was from Clarendon. I've never seen him before. I'm not saying that he has ever heard about it. But I would have been, as much as it's an unfortunate incident, I would be a proud person walking to him with a check this morning to say, you're going to be down for some time. Possibly can't ever go back to sea. Here is a check. Here is the assurance that you signed on for. Here is possibly a start to a new life. Whether you're going to buy a boat, whether you're going to have somebody work for you, whatever the situation is, here is an option. You have to create options for yourself. And that's done simply with a signature and a payment. Now, personal accident. So I'll be coming to him with more than one check. Personal accident. Loss of limb, it's the first thing. Eyesight, hearing, speech. How many times is it that you've been on the beach? How many times have you lost equipment? Boat engines aren't cheap. Boats aren't cheap. Accidents always happens. Rough seas, we hear about the problems that you encounter. It's a very dangerous profession. Now, you have to understand that as a group, you have afforded yourselves a significantly reduced rate for the cost of insurance. Because if you're supposed to talk to me on a personal level, it's going to cost you a little bit more. I should say a lot more. The fact that this plan is in place for you at the cost that it's at, it's a steal. It's literally a giveaway. I want to see each and every member. I want to see persons calling me, Mr. Gentleman here from Half Moon, you're one of the first persons that I engaged when this plan started. He introduced me to almost every single cooperative on the South Coast. Thank you for your input. But we still have to work together. We have to work together to get everybody on board. I am not pleased with the uptake and will be putting more resources into getting each and every member, your families, as in your dependents, your employees, signed up and on board so that we can provide you with the assurance so that you can continue to be a part of this sustainable economy. Thank you.
Mr. Carrodus, right? Mr. Carrodus will be here after, until the program ends. So if you have questions for him, he will be around to answer any question you may have. All right, so we're going to move along. You remember those charming little children that performed for us earlier? Well, they're to be later on the program, but they need to leave. So if you don't mind, I would call them up now and let them perform again. I'm sure you'll be as delighted with them now as you were when they performed earlier. So I wanted to give a round of applause to the children from Hayes Primary and Junior High School. Coming up. All right, keep clapping, they're coming. All right, here they come. Try this one.
Fish Roll Call, written by Sonia Moulton.
Doctor,
Present.
snapper,
Present.
lobster,
Absent, gone to the reefs.
lobster,
Not his season.
Welchman,
Present. Life is so much better under the sea. Not so these days. That must be long ago. Come, set your pots, trawl nest too. That's all we hear them say every day. Look now, we've been caught. Now we are dinner on somebody's plate.
all around us there is death and dying.
Plankton, coral reefs,
And the mangrove trees.
Tell us, where shall we lay our heads? On the seashore? Protect we not, we are beg you, please. Train them how we use the seas. Educate, then enforce the laws. Give we a chance, we advance.
Who benefits?
Jamaica benefits through trade, food security, and sustainability. Let's see life be your life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well done. Hayes Primary School and Junior High. Thank you so much. Wow. Miss, whoever trained them did a fantastic job. Well done. All right, so now, all in the spirit of providing or giving you information about what is happening and what are we doing to protect our industries, to protect our fisher folk. The next two presentations are from people who work for the NFA and represent two major projects that are underway. The first one coming up is going to be presented by Miss Selena Legister, and she's going to present on a project funded by an international agency for promoting community-based climate resilience in the fisheries sector. Selena?
Boy, I can't top that performance, you know. Can we get another round of applause for those children?
Indeed, our future looks bright. Minister of State, Honorable Minister Whittle, members of the head table, our distinguished guests, members of the NFA executive team, Ms. Ingrid Parchment, Executive Director of CCAM, colleagues, fish farmers, fisher folks, a warm welcome to you all this afternoon. So this afternoon, I will try to break down the Promoting Community-Based Climate Resilience project in the fisheries sector. It is funded by the Climate Initiative Fund, which is being administered by the World Bank. And so I will break down some of the activities that we have been doing. Trying to get this. Okay. All right, so we've heard this afternoon from our permanent secretary, some of it from the minister. Climate change is real. The impacts of climate change has affected so many different ways, so many different lives. And so the Promoting Community-Based Climate Resilience in the fisheries sector is aimed at fishing communities adopt to alternative livelihood. Thank you. So the main objective of this project is for fishing communities to adopt to climate resilience practices. We can break this down, it's not more. Okay, I'm trying to work this. Okay, so the project is broken down into 3 components. The first component speaks to strengthening the fisheries regulation and policy framework, okay? The second component relates to diversification and alternative livelihood. And the third component speaks to capacity building and raising awareness. So for example, today, that is what we're trying to do. Raising awareness, bringing awareness about the project. Some of you would have met some of us already. We've been in your communities. We have had several stakeholders meeting, and so we continue to do that drive and build capacity. Oh, it's going down. All right, just give me a moment. Let me try and figure, okay. All right, so who benefits from this project? The project is intended to benefit over 20,000 fisher folks, including fish farmers and fishers, okay? And over 1,800 persons involved directly or indirectly in the fishing communities that we're targeting. So as I said, component 1 is about strengthening the fisheries policy and regulatory framework. Some of the activities that we've done so far within this component is that we're looking at a strategy and action plan to regulate and strengthen the fisheries policy. We're also looking at a strategy and action plan in terms of monitoring, control, surveillance, and enforcement. That has been completed. Over the couple of months, we've been into some of your community. That is targeting our fish sanctuaries and our protected areas. And so there is, in fact, a strategy and action plan. And we hope to share this action plan with you at a different meeting. We've also acquired an enforcement vessel under this component. Minister and the permanent secretary would have spoken about enforcement activities. And so we have acquired this enforcement vessel as well as a super duty that will enable the NFA team to move around the vessel to the different areas where they're going to be doing soft enforcement. We've also acquired a minibus, and that also has been assisting the National Fisheries Authority in terms of carrying out their enforcement activities. The National Fisheries Authority, I believe now we have gone up to maybe about 10 or so soft enforcements using the enforcement vessel. This is a collaboration with the Marine Police, members of the community, and so we continue to do those kind of enforcement using the vessel that was provided under the World Bank project. Our approach is a bottom-top approach, meaning that we want to always hear your views. You are the stakeholders. So some of these interesting comments that were made today, this is what we strive at, looking at ensuring that we become more climate resilient in this changing atmosphere that we're living in today. So we have been going, some of you, I'm not sure if the Portland folks are here. We went over to Portland when we were doing our monitoring, control, and surveillance strategy and action plan. We went to Discovery Bay, Aracabessa, quite a number of communities that we have had stakeholders engagement. As well as Discovery Bay, White River. We've had several training in those communities. And so we continue to do those as we progress and continue with the activities of the project. The second component is very, very interesting. And this is a component that speaks to the diversification and fisheries-based alternative livelihoods. So as we are all aware, that, you know, the fish is depleting. We all know the impacts of climate change. I really don't have to go through all of them. So what this project aims to look at is look at alternative for the fishing communities. Okay, so what we have done so far in this, some of the activities we have done so far, we've completed the design to upgrade the aquaculture hatchery. And now we're going into the implementation phase of building out that hatchery. And that is located at the Twickenham Park in Spanish Town. Now, I believe we have over 78 fish farmers. I'm not sure if they're here today, or some of them might be here, but they will benefit from an increase in advanced fries. Now, with the NFA, they've heard your cry, and one of the setbacks is that sometimes they're not able to fill the demand for advanced fry. The ponds are sitting down empty for a number of weeks, months, because there's no fingerling. So coming out of this activity, you will now see an increase in production, as well as to also build out other aquaculture farmers. We've also completed the design of the mariculture facility. This is in Bowden, St. Thomas. Minister, it's a really beautiful facility, and at this facility we're looking at upgrading, looking at oyster production, Irish moss, sea moss, quite a number of activities that we want to implement out there. So that design is completed, and so we're going into the implementation phase. We've also completed a study tour. We spoke about, the permanent secretary spoke about pelagic fishing. Okay, a team of us that was recommended by the World Bank went to the Eastern Caribbean, that's in Grenada, because they do quite a number of tuna fishing and pelagic fishing. And we were wowed, okay? And so we know Jamaica have the capacity to also get into pelagic fishing as an alternative livelihood. Their main emphasis is on export. And so why not Jamaica? Why can't we focus on pelagic fishing as an alternative livelihood and also looking at export. I can take you down to Pajee in St. Mary any time of the day, and you can see some big tuna fish, some big dolphin fish, but we need to carry out post-handling and also marketing of these type of fish. So we're looking at investigating and carrying out some of these activities in terms of training, acquiring a vessel. Okay, so that is one of the things we saw in Grenada, where they use long line fishing as well as fad fishing. So the next step, we should be able to get our vessel landed here in Jamaica, hopefully by December, the beginning of January next year. And this vessel will provide to the NFA the ability to train fisher folks how to do long line. I'm sure some of you are able to do that as well, but this vessel will have the necessary fittings in terms of doing it properly, post-handling, and all the delights of long line fishing. Okay, so I spoke about the hatchery upgrade as well as an alternative, and so I just want to drill down a little bit more as an alternative livelihood. It is not a competitiveness. I've been out there in many stakeholders meeting, and you hear that there's this rivalry between fish, marine fish and aquaculture. It complements you. So during Easter, when fish is hard to get, at least the housewife can go out there and purchase, tilapia. There are some myths still about tilapia, but this is definitely one of the alternatives that we're providing for fisher folks and fish farmers. As I said before, they will an increase from about 1.5 million to about 5 million fingerlings, and this would reduce the waiting time and it will increase tilapia production. So let us look on some of the more fisheries-based alternative livelihoods that are available. All right, so coming out of a recent consultation, some concept notes were developed. We spoke with you, some of the stakeholders involved, and so coming out of that, we had a number of notes, concept notes that were made available. I mentioned about oyster production. I mentioned about pelagic fishing. We're looking at sustainable developing aquaculture. Again, we're talking about sustainable sanctuaries, making sanctuaries become more independent. And so looking at different activities within the sanctuary so that they can earn for themselves. So some of these are some of the ideas in terms of alternative livelihoods. Component 3, as I did mention, relates to building capacity and awareness. Some of you would have participated in 2 national surveys that were completed, the knowledge, attitude, and perception, which we wanted to find out what you think of climate change. How does it affect you? And also we did a survey that delved into youth in the fishing industry and labor dynamics. So those were completed. So the results of these surveys are now going to be used in what we call our campaign activities. So within the next couple of months, you're going to be tired of seeing our face. We will be out there campaigning and looking at different aspects of raising awareness for you, fisher folks and fish farmers, so that we can build resilience together. We're also developing something called apps that can be used on your phone. This is being provided by the Met Service that is in progress right now. We also have a special advisory looking also at the building in terms of the framework and legislative policies in the fisheries sector. How is the World Bank, going to measure some of these activities that we're doing? Well, there's something called an indicator framework. And so we will measure the success when we would have accomplished a national framework policy for the fisheries sector, the number of fishers that would adopt to climate resilient fishing practices, the number of fisher groups that would adopt to alternative livelihoods, the number of fish farming groups that would adopt to climate resilient aquaculture practices, and of course, we can't leave out our women, the number of women among targeted fisher groups and fish farming groups that adopt to climate resilience practices. So we have been around and we continue to raise awareness. We have been on AgriBuzz a couple of times, Farm Talk, early morning for those of us who wake up early, but I know you guys get up from 3 o'clock to go fishing. PBCJIS is here, radios and newspaper. As I said, we will be carrying out our campaign activities very shortly, so you will continue to hear about the promoting community-based climate resilience in the fisheries sector. I usually end my presentation by saying success is in our reach. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day. Can I give away a prize? Sure. Okay. So I need to know how many of you were listening to me. I have a prize to give away, Ms. Parchment, if you don't mind. If somebody could just name me one of the alternatives, livelihoods that we're looking at, you will get a prize. Ah, she bright like a star. Oh. And we have Ms. Parchment during the presentation. And what is your name? What is your name? Okay, good. I'm going to leave this up.
All right, yes. All right, thank you very much, Selena Legister. So you see, I didn't lie. There are things happening that affect you positively. You're going to have training in how to look at alternative occupations so that you are not totally molded and wedded to only one way of life. Still fishing, but some other ways of doing that. It's wonderful. The next thing that we are going to hear about is the licensing system. You would have met Dr. Oliphant earlier, who is our director in charge of, among other things, licensing and registration. But there is an internationally funded project to develop a new licensing system, and to tell you about that, I'm going to invite Mrs. Judy Marshall Anderson to come and tell us about that. Miss Judy, come.
Good afternoon, everybody. Minister Witter, other members of the head table, fishers, fish farmers, and members of the fisheries industry. My name is, as I said before, Julie Marshall Anderson, and I'm the project manager for the fisheries licensing and registration system. This project is being implemented by the Transformation Implementation Unit, which is a part of the Ministerial of Finance, and the TIU, Transformation Implementation Unit, is on a mission to transform the public sector, modernize its operations. The NFA is also currently on a drive of modernization. So this project fits in very nicely with that. It's part of the mission to increase the efficiency of the public sector. So why a new fisheries licensing and registration system? As fishers, you are all well aware of the need to have a fishing license. There are, when you go to sea, the marine police is there, the Coast Guard is there checking. So when you apply for your license, you don't want to wait a long time to have it. You don't want to have to go to sea without actually having the license. So you want the license application process to be done in a timely manner. And this is one of the criticisms that we have had, that sometimes the licenses take a long time to be issued. As well, when you apply for the license each year or whatever the period is, you have to fill out this form, putting back the same information that you already put in there before. I'm sure some of you will find that quite tedious. And also, when you have made your application, you want to know, when am I going to get the license? At what stage is it? How long is it going to take? For that to happen now, you have to call, because everything is paper-based, you have to call, somebody has to trace it, so that can take a long time as well. So the present system, as we know, being paper-based, it doesn't facilitate online applications. And as well, I'm sure you'd like to know when your license is going to be up. Nobody calls you and said, Mr. Fisher, your license is going to be up in 3 months. You need to come and renew. As far as I know, that's not happening now. When your license is available for pickup, you have to be calling. All of that, the new fisheries licensing and registration system will solve. We also have persons from abroad who come for recreational fishing and sport fishing, and they themselves have to wait until they come to the island to actually apply for the license. We don't want that. We want them to be able to stay from abroad and apply for the licenses. Once they get here, they're ready to go. The other issues with the present system is that there's not a robust database for recording and storing information. There's not an ability to seamlessly share information with related parties, such as the marine police. So they need to know their information has to be up to date as to who is licensed and who is not. So we have to be giving them this information on a weekly basis. With a new system, they will be able to actually check that information for themselves online. So what are what are the features of the new fisheries licensing and registration system? As I said, the computer application will replace paper files as applications will be done online. What does this mean? You'll be able to do it from your phone. Most persons would have a phone. You can just make that application online. You can pay for the license on your phone as well. But if you are unable to do that, you will be able to go into a fisheries office and they will do the payment for you. As well, we'll be looking at other methods of payment, such as maybe Paymaster and so on, but that hasn't been ironed out as yet. You'll be able to get your receipts generated by the system automatically. You'll be notified either by text, WhatsApp, or email when your license ID is ready for pickup. And in fact, when your license is ready, you will actually get an electronic version of the license on your phone that you can actually show to whoever requires it. You will also be able to pick up the hard copy version. But the one that you have on your phone will have a QR code that can be scanned, so they will get all the information that they need to about your license. You'll also be notified by text, WhatsApp, or email when your license needs to be renewed, and that renewal, again, can be done on your phone. So because we already have your information in the system, if you are not a new client, there's no need to provide information that you previously gave. We would already have that. So although all of this can be done on your phone, you can do it yourself. We'll also be giving you support. So our fisheries and extension officers, they will be able to assist with the online applications. In devising this system, we had to take certain information, certain environmental information into consideration, such as literacy rate, how many persons actually have mobile devices, how many people have access to internet, the computer literacy, how many fishers and other people who actually use cash instead of like a credit card. All those things are taken into consideration. So we want to make the system as accessible as possible to everyone. Now, when this project was devised, one of the objectives was to create a more technologically savvy industry. So we're kind of, dragging you into the 21st century by having an internet-based licensing system. But very important too, I think, is that we want persons to move away from just being purely using cash, right? So a lot of persons don't have bank accounts, but a number of innovations have been coming along that can assist persons to become what we call banked rather than unbanked. So we have the Link/Jamdex facility, which was announced by the Prime Minister some time ago. But also a number of the banks have a facility where persons who originally would not be able to get a bank account now can get a bank account. So the requirements for opening that bank account are less onerous than it was previously. Some of them, there are no fees that you have to pay. There's no limit as to how much money you have to have in the account to keep it alive and so on. So we want to encourage persons to look at this, and we will also be giving you more information about this. I don't know when last I have stepped foot in a bank or even a paymaster and so on. Everything can be done on your phone, makes it easier, it is safe, and it will really facilitate this process as well. So what are the processes that will be facilitated by the new system? So persons will be able to apply for fisher license, fish farm licenses, fishing vessel licenses, aquaculture facility licenses, permits and authorization for the Morant and Pedro Keys, for live fish import, quota and fishing rights, for example, for single species such as conch and lobster, landing catch declaration, and as well declaration of products in storage for the closed season. Monitoring compliance, as you know, is also very important, and this will be facilitated in the system. So persons, we have our compliance officers who will be able to create a monitoring compliance task in the system. They will conduct inspections or site visits as necessary. If an offense which is classified as one to be ticketed, so we'll be having a ticketing system just like you have for motor vehicle violations. If an offense which is classified as one to be ticketed is committed, the compliance officer will generate or write a ticket on the spot. If an offense is classified as one requiring court appearance, the extension officer will generate and issue the warrant on the spot. And the system will be updated with this information. Now, apart from just being a licensing system, this system is supposed to allow us to access information, right? Keep and store and access information. So we will have information on our commercial, recreational, subsistence fishers, fish farmers, all of those licenses that I mentioned before. That information will be there. We'll also have information on the fishing beaches, the fish stock in the various fishes waters. As you know, the NFA from time to time goes out and actually does research on how much lobster is in the sea, how much conch. All of that information will be stored in the system in a geographical manner, so you can know where the conch is, where the lobster is. We will also be keeping information on contraventions of the Fisheries Act, legal proceedings, seizures and arrests, fishery quotas, revocation of licenses. So all that information is going to be there. Whether your license has been revoked, whether you have been arrested, all of that. So, of course, we encourage you not to get into that bracket. And so we'll have regular reports as well as ad hoc reports, so we can look and see who are the fishers in a particular geographical area, and all of that information which our data persons right now compile. Apart from the development of the licensing system, we're going to embark on a public education campaign to raise awareness amongst our stakeholders, and it will also help you to understand how the system works and how it can help Jamaica. And also, our main objective of this public education is to build support for the licensing system. And for this public campaign, we'll be targeting basically everybody in the industry: fishers, fish farmers, fish industry workers, fish vendors and purveyors. So we'll be keeping information on not just fishers, but all the other persons in the industry will be part of this system. So whether they get a license or an ID, so suppliers of fishing and aquaculture gears. And I just want to talk about fish vendors and purveyors. So we will even have information on what we call like net pickers, because when there is an issue in the industry and the industry shuts down, it's not just the fishers and fish farmers who are affected. The person who's joined the net, picking the net, their industry, the scalers, they also are affected by that lockdown. And so whatever benefit the government has to give to persons in the industry, we want them to benefit also. But for them to get that, they have to be registered. The government needs to know who you are. So you can't just come and say, me, me. We have to have you in the system. So I'm not going to go through all the strategies, but we'll have town hall meetings, we'll have posters on billboards, we'll have public service announcements on the radio and TV, we'll be on the social media, radio features, so you can listen out, you'll be hearing from us. We also will be going through change management, but I won't go too much into that right now. So just to give an idea of when is this going to happen, because I'm sure you have been hearing about this and you're wondering when is it going to happen. So we have actually gone out to tender to get somebody to develop the system. We hope to sign a contract in October. The system will be implemented in June of next year, and then we'll have testing and a pilot process, and we expect to go live in December. So as of December of 2023, the system will be being used, but you'll be hearing a lot more about it. Before then, we'll be helping you to know how to use it and so on. All right, so that's it. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you there, Ms. Judy. So you see, there are big things happening. Pretty soon you will be able to have the ease of applying for your license right from where you are. No need to come to town. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. So I have a couple more things to give away, right? So now, here's this question. Who can tell me, you listening? Who can tell me who is the patron saint of fisherfolk? Who is the patron saint of fisherfolk? You should have known it, it's in the Bible. Who is the patron saint of fisherfolk? Yes, come up if you know. Come forward. Oh, you can't come. I can't hear. No, not Patrick.
Peter.
St. Peter. St. Peter. Wonderful. Where's my runner with the prize? Come and give this man here. See him right there. Right there. Good. St. Peter. Jesus Christ called him from his work, right? Okay. So now, here's what's going to happen. Minister is still with us, you notice? I can take 3 questions, no more. 3 questions. So if you still have a question for Minister, this is the time. 3 questions only. Some of them want to see in a long line. Only 3 people I want to see in the line. 3 people, no more. All right, the gentleman in the striped shirt was there a long time. Yes. Go ahead, please, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa, help him with the mic. We're not hearing. Yes, talk up.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Afternoon, sir.
I've been listening all of these language, but in this country, we have a thing we call pretty talk. Now, my problem to the minister is GCT that you put on the fishing equipment. I would like to ask him to remove it immediately. When you go to buy a roller, when you pay $30,000 for it, you buy a stick for $1,500, you get 12. You buy a tank of gas, costs $8,000-9,000. All depends on where you are. When you come back and sell a pound of fish for $900, the person that works minimum wage cannot buy a decent pound of fish, he must buy trash fish. And if I have little kids in my house, he can't get trash, pick them trash fish. So now we take off the GCT that we can get the things for a lesser price, that we can sustain our thing and drop the price of the fish. Fish can go for $900 a pound and people cannot buy. That is sin. To me, we should never remove the GCT from agriculture equipment, especially from the farmers like we who do fishing. I don't like that. The next question for me is, we have a beach. I'm from Discovery Bay. We have a beach. We get funding from Canada. We buy a boat, we buy an engine. We put in a program to land agency. We lease the beach, that we can control the beach. Because what happened to the beach now, it's formal now. Everybody can build. So we can put a boat on the beach for launch. There is no way if you launch a boat. One, we get a lawyer, we get a technical people who do drawing and draw everything. How the beach going to set, shop going build, and all of that. We get the money from Canada. We never beg government no money. All of that. The people from National Land Agency, one man same seat, the next man say, go on and like carpet. Now we know the trick of that. The next trick we want to go after, we know, we run off at the beach and give it to investors. But it will be fire, left, right, and center. That's what I'm telling you, seriously. But I want the GCT to talk on the radio tonight. So you're going to move it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we heard two questions. The one about the GCT on the gas, and the other one about an area that he wanted to develop, and apparently it gone to somebody else.
All right.
We are bring it closer. Yeah.
In terms of the GCT, I am not in a position to yes.
Okay. Okay. Fishing equipment.
I'm not in a position to answer that question. That question would have to be raised with the Minister of Finance, who deals with that. But GCT is something that was implemented many years ago on most items. So I know it will be difficult to single out one sector and then remove the GCT, because if you remove it from fishing equipment, then all the other areas would want to see the removal of GCT. And I mean, tax is something that everybody always will love to see a reduction in. But government can only get its resources to assist and to deal with the issues from taxes, and therefore I'm not in a position to answer that question. As it relates to the project you spoke about, I don't know, I'm not aware of the project.
To talk to him offline on that. That sounds like a particular thing.
Right, I'm not aware of the project, but if you could send me some documentation as to what the project entails, then I could go through it and see exactly what are the challenges. But I'm not aware of the project. I have no information on it. So it would be good if you can send me something in writing so I can check and see exactly what the situation is.
All right. Thanks, Minister. All right, next question.
Yes, my name is Devon Malcolm. I'm from Half Moon Bay, Elsha Beach. I'm asking two questions. What affects fishermen directly and what indirectly? I'm talking about the Sargasso grass. We notice over the years the Sargasso grass has been coming plentiful on beaches. So we want to know where directly this grass is coming from and how can we address it. Secondly, I want to ask about the dredging that takes place in the harbor, how it affects fishermen indirectly, causing erosion. We want to know, the lady speak about licensing. So we want to know people who seek to do dredging, where they get the licensing from, and what is the mitigating factors put in the projects that if we, the fishers, find that the dredging have an effect on us, causing the current flow to get heavier, washing away our fish pots and all those things. So we want to know what mitigating factors are put in projects if we find that dredging is causing damages to we, the fishers. Yeah, those are the two questions I want to ask.
Okay, I just asked my Chief Technical Director to answer that question.
Good afternoon. My name is Orville Palmer. Let me ask two questions. Let me address the first one, which has to do with Sargasso. We have a project that we are looking at right now to see how we can put this resource to use. One of the things that we have found so far is that the sargassum has a high level of cadmium, which is an element which is found in the soil and the sea. And this is, so we'll have to do some further research to see how we can process it into value-added things like fertilizer and so on. But at the same time, being able to successfully eliminate or remove that impediment. So that is something that we're actively working on as we speak. With regard to the source, I would leave that would Mr. Smichael, would you be able to shed some light on the major source of the sargassum right now?
Stephen.
Thanks, CTD. So sargassum is a naturally occurring aquatic plant that is found in the Atlantic. Why we're seeing so much of it now is perhaps as a direct consequence of climate change. The water temperature is getting warmer, and with that, we're finding sargassum increasing in numbers and washing into the Caribbean. So it's not just Jamaica that's affected. It's all the Caribbean islands within the Caribbean region that is seeing these increased numbers of sargassum. As CTD Palmer said, we do have a project that we're looking to see if we can harvest the sargassum and use it in some kind of economic way, whether it's fertilizer or drugs in the pharmaceutical industry and so on. But right now we're finding some heavy metals, that's what the cadmium is, and we're trying to see how we can remove it from the sargassum so we can use it economically. So that is something that we're actively engaging now in a regional project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Smichael. All right, so our third and last question. I can't take any more after this because we have our award ceremony. Yes, sir. I'm sorry? Oh, there was another question.
Yeah.
The dredging?
Yeah, the second question, which was dredging. Dredging really, that license is managed by NEPA. With all licenses that NEPA issues, there are covenants with those licenses, which the person who received the license would have to live up to those obligations. So one of the things that I think we need to do is to have a dialogue with them to find out what are the restrictive arrangements and see if there's any breach, and then we can take it to NEPA. I'd also suggest strongly that we work through the groups. Whatever issues you have, bring it through your groups, because that tends to be most effective in bringing about the changes that we need. And as the Permanent Secretary would have spoke about earlier, the way forward is for us to really work together as a family to resolve these issues. But I'm very confident that all of the issues that have been aired so far, we'll take them very serious, and we'll work together towards achieving a solution that is well balanced, taking into consideration the different stakeholders that are involved in the industry. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, CTD. Yes, last question.
Yes, good afternoon, each and everybody. I'm Charles Mackenzie from Rocky Point in Fishing Beach. I have two questions. I hear the big man say a while ago that PJ Bank will be a marine reserve. Enough people don't know about what marine reserve is. It's a no fishing zone. A marine reserve is a no fishing zone where nobody's supposed to fish, right? Now, if this place becomes a marine reserve, right? Nobody can fish in there. So we want to know what it would be the consequence, because this is a marine reserve, you're not going to fish there. And a marine reserve is supposed to be a place where fish breed our fish is going to produce more fish, more lobsters and these things. But people just come and want marine reserve, and these areas where they are going to put for marine reserve is not going to breed up any fish, not all of these things, right? The next question is, most of the meetings that I have been to, I have never seen no big boat man, and everybody is saying this is a fisherman meeting. So we want to know if the big boat man them is not fisherman also, because we have been problem with these big boat guys who destroying our livelihood from time to time. And every time they say about compensate, we take pictures of them boat, we take GPS coordinate of where they destroy our livelihood, and nothing happened. And these guys, they rent these boats from Honduras, carry Honduran coming in our water, where we cannot talk to. And then these guys gonna send money to Honduras to their kids, while our one walking on the beach cannot go to school, because they might destroy our livelihood. A fish pot will cost about 40,000 or 50,000 just to build a roller wire. And when a man destroy 5 fish pots for you, when you have 100 fish pot or 20 fish pot, 70 fish pot, nobody compensates we. We want all of this crop for us finish. So we want you deal with this problem once and for all.
We understand your concern as it relates to the predators out there, but this is where we would need to step up our surveillance in terms of what happens out there. But also, on your part, this is where now the insurance can be of great value to you. And so I would want to encourage, I would want to encourage the fishers to access that opportunity, and that will also help. But in terms of increasing surveillance, then we will have to look at that to see how we can protect the fishers. But we also need information from you. I heard you mention that you would have had pictures that you would have taken, but these would have to be presented to the necessary authority for them to act. So therefore it is also incumbent on you to provide information to us so that we'll be able to deal with some of these issues. And the other question I ask, Mr.
Smichael is coming to address the issue.
In addition to what Minister said, I just want to point out that the Pedro Bank is not being declared a marine reserve. I want to make that absolutely clear. There is a proposal for a protected area on the Pedro Bank and surrounding, well, the Pedro Keys and surrounding areas. No, it will not stop fishing on the Pedro Bank. That's absolutely impossible. What we will have, as we have now, are small areas on the Pedro Bank, for example, around Bird Key, that we'll have fish sanctuaries. And as many fishers have asked for, they want to see an increase in the size of that sanctuary. However, we will not declare any area that will impact negatively on the livelihoods of the fishers who fish and operate on the Pedro Keys. All right? So I just want to make that very, very clear. Secondly, in terms of the dredging, Minister, there is a mechanism that we have used in the past where legitimately licensed fishers, once they submit a claim, and they can submit it through the offices of the NFA, we will take it forward to the relevant authorities, Minister, so the matter can be addressed. So there is grievance policies that we have used in the past which will still apply to persons who have been impacted by dredging operations, which are licensed by the NRCA and the Port Authority are involved. But we'll take it forward once persons have been affected. All right? All right, so in terms of the big boats, now you might have missed it, but last week Friday, and there are big boat operators here in this meeting, right? I don't know if I should point out, Minister, but we have persons here. So they are hearing you. But last week Friday, we did have a meeting between the big boat operators and some of the small artisanal fishermen. Mr. Crawford was there as well. Neville, show yourself. So we had the JFCU, we had Mr. Crawford from Rocky Point, and we had other representatives of the representing the small-scale fishers. Now, just in summary, one of the things that we agreed is that we'll look at a mechanism that the small-scale fishers can be compensated when they lose traps, but the claim have to be legitimate. Right? We have to work on a way to verify that the claims that you're making are legitimate. You have to be a licensed fisherman. Your pots would have had to be in the area, and we had to have evidence to show which big boat operator was also in the area that would have damaged the traps. Now we have agreed that we'll look at this. We're going to have another meeting before the opening of the lobster season, where we're going to invite more of the small-scale fishers who fish for lobster and the captains of the big boats to sit down and we'll work out a way. All right, so look out for that.
Okay, thank you. Along that line, somebody said that earlier that there was a plan to extend the closed lobster season until September. That is not true. The lobster season, the closed season will end on June 30th as it's supposed to. We have one question from Montego Bay. No, hold on. There is a question from Montego Bay.
A while ago, where I thought you were wrong to say such things like that, because I was in the meeting Friday gone, and Mr. Smikle and we was in there, and they said they want to extend, want to push
so
the closure season for lobster until September, and we go to a vote about that, and say it cannot work. So
okay, all right, so we're agreed. All right, could we have the gentleman from Montego Bay, please? One question from Montego Bay.
Hello, miss. I'm from Salt River and I have a question.
Hold, please. We have to give the people in Montego Bay a chance, please. Minister, don't go on, but we have a program that we're trying to work
One
with.
question which is very important. From Salt River, Welcome Beach.
Please, hold on. Let me give the person from Montego Bay a chance. If they don't come on, I'll come back to you. Do we have the person from Montego Bay? We don't have the person from Montego Bay? Okay, sir, you may go ahead. Last question.
Sean Thompson here from Welcome Beach, Salt River. I have a very important question. The ships, which is on the harbor, it is on the dock, we call it the gas ship. I have a question about it. When the ship is on the dock, the sewage, the treatment for the sewage plant is on it. It is there for years. I would like to know if the chemical is harmful, which them use, treat it and let it back out in the sea, because the fishing area is getting very slow. There's a place where we used to catch a lot of fish. And I don't know if those chemicals are very harmful and what them do with it. If them let it out in the sea or something come feed the sewage. Thank you.
Okay. Who can answer that question? Mr. Smikle, can you speak to that? All right, you hear that, sir? Give him some particular, no, offline.
Hello.
Just give him the particulars and he will check it out.
Because even the Coast Guard and the Marine Police, when the other ships them is around, them let out some ballast water out in the sea. And it's a place where we used to catch fish, fishing line. And mostly
Give
right
him
now,
the particulars.
Right now, we cannot catch a lot of fish, no, it's water. That water where them let out from the ships, them need to do something about it because them let out ballast water, which we don't know how contaminated it is.
Okay, we hear you. All right, sir. Thank you. All right. So now, a high point in the day's proceedings. We have some awards to hand out. We plan to recognize the young people who are involved in the fishery business. I will ask Miss, who's going to hand them out? Oh, CTD and Minister? All right, all right. Who has the list? Shalene, the list? All right, while that is happening, I understand that Mr. Lin wants to make a presentation to the Fisherman's Cooperative representative. So if Mr. Lin and the Fisherman's Cooperative could come up here very quickly, we could get that done while I get the particulars for the persons who will get the award. Quick, quick. All right, there you go. Wonderful. All right. And this is, Mr. Lin is from Rainforest Seafood. It is in recognition of International Fisherman's Day. So the Fisherman's Cooperative is representing you all. All right. Do we have the presentations ready? All right, while we get that sorted, a member of your fisheries cohort wants to entertain us with a song. Please let us welcome, where is he? Let me see if I have his name. What's the name of the person? Okay, right. He goes by the name of Early One, and he has a song that is very pointed and specific to this industry. Here is Early One. Oh, you're going to stand up there? Okay.
Blessed all fisher folks. Yeah, man, are the fisherman. Live long and grow strong. Dr. Fish Snap and Wenchman. Listen, the first time in my life, me go a see, think it nice. It make me decide to pay a fisherman the price. Me travel over water, over depths and heights. Before the cat me reach my bill a spliff, me beg a light, me nearly vomit out my kidney, vomit out my tribe. Beg Master God for beg the daylight the first time in another year. It name seed time fisherman, them start rig and the fish them big, big, big. Again, seed time fisherman, them start to rig and the line man a jig, jig, jig. It name fish no in a hurry, them no in a haste. You catch them a fisher in a desolate place. You have pot man, net man, compressor and tank. Hook and line, shooter, a run pitch a bank. Whole night in a water, me foot them cramp. Don't forget your flare, man, don't forget your lamp. Sometimes the weather rough, sometimes the boat is swamp. Half my life belt and me a float like a tank. Seed time fisherman, them start rig, and the fish them big, big. Shh. Seed time fisherman, them start to rig, and the line man a jig, jig, jig. But You can hear the fisherman. Oh, the fisherman shouting, fish me up. You can hear the fisherman. Oh, she is shouting. She say, look on the fish in my dish, you like it. Look on the fish in my pot, you can have it like a snapper, butter, tuna, kale, favor, up front, at the ground. Who him, the brim. Your mad, the shad, rabbit, turbot, eat it, skin it. Sea time fisherman, them start trick. And the fish, them big, big. Emperor Selassie the first. All fish are food.
The indomitable. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, so we're going to have the presentations of these awards now. So I'll call the names. We're going to do the aquaculture ones first, and then the artisanal ones. So I'm calling the name. If you're here, we just ask you to come up quick. Miss Sharmalika Badal. Is Miss Badal here? No, Miss Badal. Next. Mr. Roman Badal. No Badals are here. Okay. Mr. Reco Binns. Rocco Binns not here? No. Mr. Rashawn Foster. Rashawn Foster. All right. Mr. O'Dane Foster. O'Dane Foster. This fishery business running the family, you know. Mr. Vinod Gaya. Mr. Gaya? No? Okay. Mr. Ricardo Lorraine? Mr. Ricardo Lorraine? No? Not here. All right. Welcome, Mayor Maraj. Good to see you, sir. Mrs. Kanisha Morgan Parks. Mrs. Morgan Parks, are you here? No? All right. Mr. O'Shane Smith, are you here? I guess this means the young people are busy. All right. Mr. Trey Williams. Trey Williams is here? Whoop-de-doo. Wonderful. Minister, if you could just get this award for us, please. All right.
So we're now on to fishers.
Okay, artisanal fishers. All right, thank you, Minister. All right, we're going on now to the artisanal fishers. Mr. Craig Bihari. Craig Bihari, are you here? Yes, Craig is here. Come again, Minister. Minister, don't sit down. All right, sir. Good, Mr. Bihari, good. While we're doing that, Mr. Akeem Campbell. Akeem Campbell, are you here, Akeem? No, Akeem. Mr. Amar Harris. Is Amar Harris here? Oh, on his behalf, all right. All right, you're a collector, yes, okay. While we're doing that, Mr. Akesh Henderson. Akesh Henderson? No, Akesh Henderson, all right. Mr. Damone Lindsay. Is Mr. Lindsay here? Damone? No Damone Lindsay? All right. Oh, somebody is representing Mr. Lindsay? Okay. All right, so this lady will represent Mr. Lindsay. Thank you very much. All right, good. Mr. Kenique McKinley. Kenique McKinley? Nobody for Mr. Kenique McKinley? No? All right. Mr. Romeo Mirage? Oh, yes, Mr. Mirage is here. Good. All right, Mr. Mirage, good. While they're doing that, Mr. Headley Snaith. Headley Snaith, yes, Mr. Snaith is here. And we are recognizing these young persons who are in the fishing business, which tells us that there is a future. Next person will be Mr. Walter Stewart, Jr. Mr. Stewart is here. Last one. All right, Mr. Stewart, okay. And last but not least, Miss Happilonia Reed. Is Miss Reed here? Happilonia Reed. No, Miss Reed? All right, thank you very much, Minister. That's it. All right, so those were the awards. And our next to last item on the agenda, we're going to bring you some energy. We feel that you wanted some more energy in the room, so we got somebody who will give you energy. This next person started in media from the tender age of 16 years old, where she was the host of the award-winning entertainment show Intense that aired on Saturdays on TVJ. She has also hosted the Chill Room on a popular national talent show called Digicel Rising Stars. Pepita won the award for the Favorite Media Personality of 2012 at the local Youth View Awards after losing her job at TVJ. Pepita has musical singles and is still passionate about music. Pepita Little gave her life to the Lord Jesus in April 2014 and has been a proud advocate for the Kingdom of Heaven. Pepita got involved with the UWI Community Film Projects program, which teaches persons who live in volatile communities all areas of film and film production. This was where she discovered her love for mangrove plants and wrote her first short film called For the Love of Mangroves, which premiered recently at the local Gatfest Film Festival. Pepita is also an actress and starred in her first short Jamaican horror film called Nice Lady, written and directed by former JAFTA president and Pepita's film mentor, Kyle Eitel, who also taught Pepita the basics of cinematography. Pepita is very active in her community and is a member of the Port Royal Benevolent Society, where she serves as the assistant treasurer. She also assists the Port Royal Fishermen's Group. Pep Talk JA is the name of her lifestyle blog on YouTube, where she features her community among other things. Pepita presently resides in the small fishing village of Port Royal, where she was born and raised. Help me welcome Pepita Little.
Hello, Fisher people! I just want to say that I love you guys, like genuinely. I was born and raised, as you heard, in Port Royal, and that's a fishing village. And I also want to say thank you to all fisher folk. Could you fix this mic for me, please? Just want to say thank you to all fisher folk for not killing human beings or thumping our minister and only killing fish that we eat. Big up. All right, I'm going to do a little motivational speech. I hope that it motivates. I know it will motivate you, so just listen keenly for me, please. We cannot do great things. We cannot all do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Mother Teresa. Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. Vincent van Gogh. Every day, do something that will inch you closer to a better tomorrow. Doug Firebaugh. Living in Port Royal and seeing how the fisher folk do their daily duties is quite exciting. Fisher folk are one of the most proactive and organized group of people in society. And I say that having first-hand experience of seeing how they operate on a day-to-day basis. Fishing is no easy task, as you all know. A lot of preparation has to take place beforehand, and it is not for the faint of heart. Fishing has many dangers associated as well, and there are many times families are left praying and hoping that their family members make it home safely. I salute all fisher folk today. You are important. You are important to society. You are important to us, the people of your communities. Imagining my community of Port Royal without fisher folk would be like losing a hand or a foot. Because coastal communities, we rely heavily on our fisher folk, as you know, for a source of food, income, and knowledge of marine wildlife. And guess what? Fishermen give the best weather forecast, don't it? They can also, yeah. Like if I want to know if it's raining, them say, no, man, look over the sun, man. No, this is how we get rain from, and block up where we get rain, man. All right. Where was I? All right. So they can also have a negative impact, and I'm saying this just to show how much of a positive impact fisher folk can have on our environment and ecosystem at large. The negatives can include improper fishing practices which affect the environment and in turn us humans. The fisheries industry is in the minority, but still can have a huge impact on the nation and the world at large. I recently learned about a little thing called a mangrove plant, which can protect us from storm surges, tsunamis, and hurricanes, to name a few. A small plant with great importance, big in value that many persons do not know about. We have planted a few, and they are flourishing in our community of Port Royal, and I am confident that we have made a positive step in the protection of our future generation. Fisher folk are just like this mangrove plant, and while they cannot protect us from hurricanes, you guys provide us with knowledge of the seas that we would not have otherwise been able to get unless we went out there and experienced it for ourselves. This is valuable. Value defined is the regard that something is held to deserve. The importance, worth, or usefulness of something. Have you ever heard them refer to our island as little but Watalawa? Why do you think them say so? Because we are amazing, even though we are so small. We produce world-class athletes. Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, he lives here, he's from here. And guess what? We are a small dot on the globe that you wouldn't be able to find if you didn't know exactly where to look for it, right? And all of these things have a tremendous impact on the outlook of our country amidst reports of high crime rates and how we're violent over here and all these things. I'm saying this to say that little things, little people, little places can serve a wider positive purpose in society. And I don't talk long, so I'll be finished shortly. We should never underestimate the positively big changes that can happen by a minority of people or by even a small gesture. Little things lead up to bigger things. David was a little shepherd boy who took care of sheep, yet God chose David and helped him to slay a big old giant called Goliath with a slingshot and a stone. A dung beetle is not only the world's strongest insect, strongest animal, but it's also very small. Our thyroid is a very small part of our body, but our whole body can go out of sync if there is a problem with the thyroid. I can tell you because I'm having a thyroid problem right now. Small things matter. It does not matter how big and bossy or how much prestige is placed on other professions. It does not matter where you're from, where you live, what you have, or what you don't have. Even a smile given at the right time can brighten someone's life. Everything matters. Everything is important, and it was placed here for a reason. I wanted to encourage you today and to let you know that you can do it. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Get informed about how you can make a difference, whether to the environment or to someone's way of thinking. Find out why your presence matters. Pass on your knowledge to the future generations. Teach people what you know. Stop saying, the youths them know are nothing, and find the youth that do. Get organized. focus your energy on being better. And if you're playing your part well in the grand scheme of things somewhere down the line, your actions will affect someone, whether you are there to see it or not, whether you care about it or not. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. That was said by Robert J. Collier. And I just want you to know, fisher folk, that you are small in size, but you're very, very big in value. And I have a little song that I'm going to sing for you to encourage you, of course. Okay? No smiles? All right, cool. I'm not hungry. All right. So it's a little a cappella. You're special, God made you. You're not like anyone else. You have 2 ears, 2 eyes, a mouth and a nose, and everyone knows there's one of you. You are the only one, and Jesus loves you so. You're special, God made you. So smile and let the whole world know. Fisher folk, you are definitely important.
Brianni, please bring me one of those vouchers. And if you just come and we make a presentation to Miss Little. Brianni? Mr. CTD, can I just ask you to make this presentation to Miss Little to thank her for her presentation this afternoon? Thank you.
At this time, we'll ask Member Guy to say a word of prayer.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, bless us as we meet to discuss the business of this nation. Help us to have clarity of thought. Help us to have a safe journey for those who are on their way, and that at the end of today's meeting with the deliberations that we will have, that we will do what is right and just and best for the people of Jamaica. For these and other mercies we ask in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Are there any